everybody, it's Roberto. Hoping you guys are having an amazing day. Today's stream is not as awesome as I'd like to be because we have to talk about something that affects a lot of the YouTube community, not in the most positive way, unfortunately. Let me also see if my audio is great for you guys. I want to try to adjust that so that you guys are getting clear audio. All right, so I think that should be a little bit better. That should be a little bit louder for you guys there. Still getting used to Wirecast Studio as my live stream setup here in YouTube Live. I want to thank you guys for joining me, especially those of you who came to the broadcast early. Please share this out in Twitter so that people can get in to ask their questions. I want you guys to hold questions until about 5 or 10 minutes into the stream because I want to get through the news part of this live stream regarding the YouTube boycott with advertisers, how it affects content creators both in YouTube and actually outside of YouTube, including bloggers and podcasters with websites. So we have a lot to cover here, and it's really important because there's a perspective here that I have that's different because I have the perspective of a creator and then someone who used to work in advertising and then somebody who's looking at a really big picture here and what this means. And it's actually a little worrying on multiple levels. So we're going to get into it. I don't want you guys to panic. This stream is probably going to be maybe 25, 30 minutes plus whatever we do for Q&A. So we're going to be doing that. So again, I want you guys to hold your questions until I get through the main part of this and I want to cover it. Philip Defranco actually did a great video on this, but I want to go a little bit more in depth because he has a lot to cover in his show, and I want to just focus on this one thing. And I want to talk about some of the dollar amounts, some of the advertisers, and why I think this is happening, and also what this means for you as a YouTube creator if you rely on YouTube AdSense revenue, things you can do and why you should think about building your brand outside of YouTube and beyond YouTube AdSense and not relying on it. A lot of you have asked, well, Roberto, are you a full-time YouTuber? Do you make a living off of YouTube? I make enough money on YouTube to where I could say yes to all of those things, but I run a real business, and part of the reason that I definitely insist that people look at doing that or building a product or doing something is because when things like this happen and advertisers decide to pull money from YouTube or there's a massive YouTube glitch or a problem, having all of your eggs in the YouTube basket becomes so very risky. I think a lot of you will definitely agree with that. I want to say hi to Jason Liebman, Jay Leaves. He's also going to be pitching in here as a moderator. Jason, if you could do me a huge favor, if we do get questions throughout the stream that are really important, do bring them to my attention. Super appreciate you, buddy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the YouTube boycott. There are a lot of news articles who have covered this. Most importantly, I think TubeFilter, The Verge, and Wired, as well as Business Insider. What you have to look at is that because of very unfortunate videos on YouTube, such as recruitment videos for terrorism, which I think we all agree is something that does not belong on this platform. If there's going to be anything that is censored and removed on this platform, I think we would all agree that people who are trying to recruit for terrorism or for violence or for criminal activity, that should be banned and censored from YouTube. And you can see why advertisers would be a little disgruntled by seeing their ads run alongside that type of content. We talked last month a little bit about what happened with some of PewDiePie's more risque or controversial content and some of the backlash from businesses and advertisers with that, which is not nearly as bad nor is in the same category as the videos that have true hate speech and terrorism, recruitment, and criminal activity in that. I think we'll agree that jokes that might be in bad taste or might be wildly offensive are not in the same tier and category as that. We as consumers know that. To advertisers and businesses and brands, there is no difference. And I say that as someone who worked in advertising and works today with advertisers and marketers and businesses. The optics of negativity, businesses and brands do not discriminate where that's concerned. In their mind, there's no difference between something that's too risque, too raunchy, too controversial, or something that is political commentary that they disagree with, and things that are this bad. And that's not for like me to criticize one way or the other, because I don't agree with it personally. I think that there should be nuance. I think that they should differentiate. However, from a business standpoint, I understand that they don't, and I understand why they don't. And you can't really tell a business what's right or wrong for them. And I agree with Beanie Draws in this, that hyperbole and satire are completely different from real hatred and real violence. I agree with that 110%. But to a business, the attack on them, or the narrative by association, is something that not everyone will understand the difference on. And as a business, it's just more convenient and easy to say, this is all in the category of negatively impacting us or negatively reflected on us. We're going to steer clear of that. It'd be the same thing as if you are deciding that you want to date someone and you have somebody that you're not super close with that just hangs out with your group. They're a friend of a friend, and they do some wildly offensive things. You might distance yourself from that person for the sake of your relationship or the person you want to date, or getting a little bit of nookie. Just to put it into real world context, you know, that's just something I want us to kind of a little agree on. So because of ads for major brands and companies running against these videos that spread hate speech and violence, that recruit for terrorism and violence, advertisers became very concerned about the YouTube platform as a whole, and many of the top advertisers have pulled their advertising not only from YouTube, but from the Google AdWords platform altogether. And what you need to understand is this doesn't just affect YouTube creators, this affects bloggers. This affects podcasters who run YouTube AdSense on their website. So it affects writers, podcasters, bloggers, and YouTube creators all equally. It affects anyone using the AdSense publishing platform to run advertisements. It affects all of them. And there is a legal precedent for them doing this too, because Beanie Draws makes a point. The advertisers can get into trouble for unintentionally funding terrorism. And there was a negative narrative that I don't agree with. I think there was, like, I forget which publication did this, but you could make an argument that was a hit piece on YouTube about YouTube funding terrorism. YouTube doesn't fund terrorism. There are unintentional and unfortunate situations where ads run against videos that YouTube may not have vetted, and there might be many reasons for this. Maybe it's in another language. Maybe it's something that had a misleading title as clickbait, and YouTube didn't catch it. And this is where things like when YouTube did things that we don't like things that they did with demonetization, things with the algorithm, things with YouTube Heroes for additional reporting. When you look at what they're trying to stop, and unfortunately some of us get caught in the crossfire, you can appreciate where they're coming from in the things that they do, and they do negatively impact us as creators. It is frustrating. But when you realize that, well, wait, you don't want videos that recruit for terrorism to be monetized on YouTube, you don't want YouTube ad money going to potential terrorists, that's a pretty big concern. And if there's a little bit of collateral damage to the rest of us as creators, I think that we'd say that might be understandable. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, and it's not what any of us want, but at the same time, we don't want the other extreme as well. This is why freedom of speech and censorship on YouTube is such a very complex topic. It's not black and white. It's not that all things should be permissible on this platform, because that is dangerous to all of us as a whole, and I think that we have to respect that. Now, here's what's unfortunate and negative for creators. The advertisers, yes, I believe Justin Bennett has a point. The advertisers will come back eventually, maybe, if YouTube fixes and changes some things. And YouTube did make a response to this, but I want you to understand the severity, and yes, we all get penalized for the 1 to 5%. But I want you to understand something. I'm going to read you a number that comes from one of the articles I've referenced down below. 5 of the top 20 U.S. advertisers have frozen their ads with Google and YouTube. Those 5 advertisers represent 7.5% of all ad spending. So look at that. Almost 10% of all ad spending is 5 companies. The top 5 of the top 20 companies represent 7.5%, almost 10% of all ad spending. That is crazy. That is soul crushing. Right now, this represents 750 million in revenue losses for Google and YouTube, but the Business Insider estimates that this could go up to 10 million very quickly. This is not good, guys. This is really bad. This is really bad. And I really feel that advertisers are taking a little bit of advantage here because they're using their leverage, because you're talking about brands like AT&T and Verizon and I believe Kia that will not truly be negatively impacted by removing their advertising because they're global recognized brands and they have a lot of leverage, and they also have traditional media as well. Digital is important, but they also could go to other digital platforms like Facebook advertising as well and Twitter. So pulling it from the AdSense network and the AdWords network, it negatively impacts creators, but you could make an argument that this is advertisers not only wanting to stand against potentially funding terrorism, but also leveraging creators as well by saying, hey, be advertiser friendly or else. Because if you look at it, and if 7.5% of all ad spending just evaporated, which is what happened, almost 10% of all ad spending on the Google platform just evaporate, which means podcasters, YouTubers, website publishers, potentially 10%, and depending on what portion of your ad revenue was coming from brands like AT&T and Verizon, if you're a tech YouTuber, that could significantly impact you more than if you're a fitness YouTuber. Or if you have a tech podcast, maybe that affects you more than somebody who has a fitness podcast or a yoga podcast. So this is bad. I'm not blaming the larger advertisers. And Ant Pruitt brings up a point. Can you blame the large advertisers? No. I don't blame them for what they're doing for many reasons. One, if YouTube is not cracking down on the videos that might promote violence and terrorism and ads are running against that, then that is bad, and YouTube absolutely needs to address that so that people are not legally culpable for accidentally funding terrorist activities and not supporting people who want to promote violence or hate speech or hate crimes or terrorist activities or criminality. Those things are all bad, and I think we all agree that no YouTube ad revenue should go to that. It should go to the rest of us who are doing the right thing, right? The rest of us who are doing cool stuff, awesome stuff on the platform, we should get those ad dollars, not criminals and not terrorists and not people who want to do hate speech and hate crimes. So I think that we have to separate those things. SUAS News X, but you are getting the chance to make money via YouTube. You shouldn't feel it's a right to earn here. So a lot of people are upset about the changes and the things that are coming because they feel that YouTube might be censoring or restricting free speech. And the thing is, on some level, you could make an argument for that, but you have to respect the fact that it's not right to just let everybody come to this platform and do whatever they want without any rules or guidelines or restrictions if it's something that negatively impacts the world at large and the planet. And when you're talking about hate speech, hate crimes, terrorism, criminality, recruitment for groups like ISIS, we can't say we have unlimited free speech in YouTube. That's not permissible when we're playing for those kind of stakes. Personally, this is my opinion, you may disagree. I think that there have to be restrictions. There has to be a line. There does. And maybe the content doesn't even, like, that content, in my opinion, should get taken down, should go away, and those accounts should be banned. But I don't think that creators that do satire, I don't think their content should go away. I don't think that it should be eliminated from the platform. But I do think advertisers should be able to say, and YouTube should be able to say, hey, we're demonetizing that because it's not advertiser friendly. I agree with that. And I believe that the majority of ad revenue should go to channels that are more advertiser friendly. The majority of small YouTubers are incredibly advertiser friendly. If big YouTubers want to try to push the envelope and do more controversial things, or things that might be negative to brands that run advertising against them, then maybe those ad dollars should funnel down to the YouTube middle class. Maybe those ad dollars should funnel down to the small YouTubers, and they should get more opportunities because, how much opportunity do these big YouTubers need? Maybe they don't get as much of the cut of the pie. There is a premium ad platform within YouTube and Google where bigger creators that get more subscribers and more viewers get a larger cut of ad revenue and get preference and everything like that. Maybe that should, maybe more creators that are smaller but are more amenable to advertiser interest, maybe they should be in that platform more often. Maybe advertiser-friendly YouTubers that don't get the most views and most subscribers, maybe they should get a bigger cut of the pie. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Should small creators that are more advertiser-friendly get preferential treatment versus potentially big creators that are not advertiser friendly? I think so, but that's my opinion, and maybe I'm slightly biased as someone with less than 1 million subscribers. I don't know. But I also think this represents why creators should build a business or build revenue streams outside of YouTube, because if things change with the algorithm, if things change with the YouTube policy, then the primary way that you're making your revenue can be jeopardized. So I encourage you guys to do that. And I've done a lot of videos about that. And I don't think freedom means chaos. I agree with IU Anime that I don't think freedom means chaos, but making everything permissible, that's problematic. And I hate using that word, but this is the proper time to use that word. Making everything permissible is problematic. And the thing is, privately held companies have a fiduciary obligation to have some form of governance over the platforms that they control. And Haley IUS Murrell says, free speech ended as soon as people started to make money. That is the trade-off. I sort of agree, and I sort of don't. Oh, we have a super chat. Financial education. Okay, an education channel here on YouTube. Actually, I've seen you in the comments before. Thanks for all you do, Roberto. Help me grow from nothing to 28,000 subscribers with many of your tips. Thanks for educating us on everything YouTube. Thank you, financial education. I also need to be looking at your channel because I'm starting to invest in penny stocks, and so I need any of your videos that cover that. So I'll be checking out your channel more. Censorship is more, and free speech is more governmental. It's not private entities. What I've stressed to a lot of you a lot of times is that when something is a business, or when you work for a company or anything like that, that free speech doesn't apply in that context because it's a privately owned entity, versus that's a matter of the government's enforcement and restricting what you're able to do. It'd be like the government saying that you can't publish a book, or the government saying you can't publish a paper. A publishing house deciding to not give you a book deal is not censorship, because they're a private company that's meant to be profitable. Companies that are meant to be profitable don't have an obligation to allow you to say whatever you want on their dime. They don't have an obligation to finance your free speech. You can say whatever you want, maybe. They don't have an obligation to finance that. A company doesn't have an obligation to let you host that on their platform. Any more than I have I don't have to let you say whatever you want in my home. I have the rights as a property owner to kick you out for that. So that's what, I think language has gotten lazy, and that people mistake what free speech is. And I think people need to educate themselves about what free speech is. Philip Defranco did do a great video about this, and I think that this could negatively impact YouTube news channels. But I think that the other thing is that there is an appeals process. YouTube has implemented an appeals process. In fact, let me read for you guys what YouTube's response to this was. And Justin Bennett has a good point. He asks, how can they make a solid judgment on who is advertiser friendly, who watches all the videos, how to filter this? I don't think that you can do that from YouTube's perspective in-house, which is why I think they were trying to do the YouTube Heroes initiative. I think that that's still a good initiative. I know a lot of people disagreed with it and thought that it was censorship, and I disagree with that in light of this issue and how the content creators and YouTubers themselves can police the platform to make sure that something that has a mislabel and is clickbait but turns out to be a recruitment video for terrorists that got through the filter, we can shut that down. That's what YouTube Heroes is meant to be. If someone's actually promoting violence toward another group, we as YouTubers, and they let it get through for whatever reason, we as YouTubers can shut that down. And that's what YouTube Heroes was about. I know a lot of people disagreed with that, but you see now why it would matter is because YouTube, we don't want YouTube to have a group of people that just polices what content isn't advertiser friendly. We want a ruthless, cold, calculating machine to do that. We want the artificial intelligence. We want the YouTube algorithm to do that. I know a lot of you hate the YouTube algorithm and you're afraid, but do you see why we need that instead of a human being? Because if you're someone who's right-leaning, you're going to be upset because you might think that YouTube employs people who lean left or are SJWs, and you're going to think that they're censoring you. Or if you're someone who's left-leaning, you're going to think that there's somebody who is conservative in YouTube that doesn't like your content and is censoring you and is like trying to hurt you financially. And so to eliminate those biases, we need a robot. We need a cold, ruthless, unbiased, calculating machine. We need a Terminator. We need that. And that's why we need artificial intelligence. Because it's fair. It's fair. And then we need a human approval and vetting process after that as far as an appeals process. And we need to crowdsource it so the YouTube community can police itself. And then we take responsibility for the platform that we all care about. Anthony Brian Logan says, YouTube just wants to please the advertisers so they continue to make money. I don't see a problem with that, even if you say that's true. Because if they don't make money, all of us lose the platform. Is that what you want? I mean, I'll be fine because I'm still a video marketer, a public speaker. I have a book coming out. I'm going to be launching Awesome Creator Academy with online courses. I'm going to still have a substantial business if YouTube loses all of its advertiser revenue in 2017 and YouTube shuts down in April of 2018, which I don't think will happen. But if it did, I will still have a substantial business. I will still have a revenue stream. I will not be in the unemployment line. There's a lot of people on this platform in YouTube who cannot say that. If YouTube goes away, you have a lot of people that will have to ride on the money that I hope they've stacked. You'll have, I don't know, if YouTube goes away, I'll be fine. Justine will be fine. Casey Neistat will be fine. A lot of people in the YouTube middle class who run businesses will be fine. But what happens to people like John Scarce? What happens to people like Keemstar? Not the best examples, but they're people I can think of that don't have a brand outside of YouTube that can do much. So that's where I say, like, what happens to all the YouTube gamers? Do they have a day job that they go back to? I don't know. What happens to those people? So there are people who are much more impacted by this, that have more skin in the game than me if YouTube goes away. So I think that appeasing the advertisers is in everybody's best interest. I don't think that YouTube should go all in advertiser versus creator, but the money matters. You cannot fault YouTube for wanting to make money. And the thing is, the backlash of YouTube videos affected Google as a whole, which means that this doesn't just affect YouTubers. If you're a podcaster, the top 5 of the top 20 US brands just pulled 7.5% of all advertising from Google, which means your podcast that runs AdSense on the website just took a hit. Your photography blog, your beauty blog on your website that uses Google AdSense publishing just took a hit because of stuff that happens in YouTube, even if you're not on YouTube. So I think that that's really unfortunate, and I think that that negatively impacts all creators. But here's what YouTube's response is. I'm going to go to my other screen here, and I'm going to read YouTube's response that is over on the YouTube creator blog. I believe I linked to this in the description if you want to read it for yourself, but they published this on March 20th, Monday, so this is from a week ago, but I'm going to read out loud for you what YouTube's response to this is. So they titled this, Strengthening YouTube for Advertisers and Creators. At YouTube, we believe everyone should have a voice. Since our founding, free expression has been one of our core values, allowing creators to share their ideas with over 1 billion fans from around the world. We also believe that creators should have an opportunity to earn a living from their channels, and we are proud that many do. For almost a decade, we've shared advertising revenue with our creators based on the success of their videos, and that revenue has created a vibrant new community and economy where anyone with a camera or a phone can turn their creativity into a career. But there's a difference between free expression that lives on YouTube and the content that brands have told us they want to advertise against. Our advertiser-friendly content policies set the tone for which videos can earn revenue, ensuring that ads only appear where they should. To make sure we apply this process fairly, we also give creators the chance to appeal if they feel any of their videos have been unfairly, demonetized. We take these steps because advertiser confidence is critical to the financial success of our creators. After listening to strong feedback from our advertisers, today we announced a number of actions we want to explain what these changes might mean for you, our YouTube creators. Tougher stance on hate speech. Both creators and advertisers are concerned about the hate speech, and so are we. To protect the livelihoods of our creators and to strengthen advertiser confidence, we will be implementing broader demonetization policies around videos that are perceived to be hateful or inflammatory. This includes removing ads more effectively from content that is harassing or attacking people based on their race, religion, gender, or similar categories. Strengthening advertiser controls for video and display ads. And I'll get back to this one because this one is super important, and I was AdWords certified, so I'll talk about that. Strengthening advertiser controls for video and display ads. In the coming weeks, we will add new advertisers controls to make it easier for brands to exclude higher risk content and fine-tune where they want their ads to appear. Accelerating appeals. Today, any creator whose video is demonetized can launch an appeal to have their video reviewed. Moving forward, we plan to improve the process so that reviews can happen even faster. Safeguarding creators in our YouTube Partner Program. Since we rolled out the YouTube Partner Program 10 years ago, it has enabled millions of creators to earn revenue and build a new generation of emerging media businesses. We want to protect our creators, so we'll be introducing new YouTube Partner Program safeguards to prevent abuse that hurts their earnings, like impersonation on their channels. That one's actually really important and intriguing to me, and we'll talk about that a bit more. Restating our commitment to diversity. Groups that have long been underrepresented in traditional media have used YouTube to reach new audiences, increasing empathy and tolerance while providing a lifeline of support to diverse communities. We stand by our diverse creators and communities and their right to express themselves. Recently, we've heard concerns that some of the LGBTQ content may be restricted from the small subset of users that have optionally chosen to enable YouTube's restricted mode. Earlier today, we posted a blog that further explains how this feature works, and we're committed to ensuring that our systems don't discriminate. We want YouTube to remain a place where creators can express themselves while earning revenue, where fans can discover new voices, and where advertisers have a place to reach engaged audiences. To keep that incredible dynamic going, advertisers have to feel confident their ads are only appearing where they should. Although ad restrictions can feel limiting, they're essential to protecting the livelihood of creators. While YouTube will always be a home to videos that meet community guidelines, today's measures will help ensure the virtuous cycle between... Is that virtuous or victorious? No, virtuous. Virtuous cycle. Interesting choice of words. Virtuous cycle between creators, fans, and advertisers remains strong for years to come. Posted by Ariel Barden, VP Product Manager. Okay, so that was YouTube's response to all of this. Let me go through, and guys, hold your questions a little bit because I am going to answer them, and I don't want to miss some, and I will go back through these, and I'm glad that I have up here your questions displayed, because that's going to be cool for people who want to see that in the replay of the live stream. And by the way, the replay of the live stream usually takes an hour to post, so don't think I'm getting ready to this video. It's just that it takes a while for YouTube to process the live streams, especially when I use Wirecast. But let me go through this and tell you my thoughts on what they're saying here. So the advertisers, especially the top 5 of the top 20, pulled some of their advertising from YouTube because they found out, oh crap, my videos are playing against videos that recruit for ISIS. My videos are playing against hate speech and hate mongers. My videos are playing against videos that recruit people for gangs. Like that's real, and that's a legitimate concern as an advertiser. Look, as a small business owner, if I run ads for my marketing consultancy, I do not want those ads running against something like that. That looks horrible. So I appreciate where they're coming from that. A tougher stance on hate speech. A lot of people feel that freedom of speech on YouTube is going away, and I don't believe that. But I think that freedom of speech doesn't mean that you're free to make money on advertisers' backs for content that they, as a company, may not be willing to support. Advertisers have the right to say, I don't want to support this stance. I don't want to support, this thing, and I don't want to put money behind it. An advertiser has that right. YouTube and advertisers saying, hey, you can't make money on this content, that's not censorship and that's not a freedom of speech issue. That's the marketplace decides. That's a free market issue. That's a advertisers and do I want to pay for this as an advertiser, as the client, as the customer. I should decide what I do and don't pay for in terms of advertising and where that appears and what represents my brand. So as a business owner, I'm 100% on the side of an advertiser saying, I don't want to support this content, this content, this content, this content. They should have that right. Now, if an advertiser wants to support something that is a little bit more risque, they should also have that right to check a box and say, I'm okay with my ads playing on controversial content because I want the sweet, sweet views. So if they want that, they should do that. That should be the choice of the person who is spending the money. That should be their choice. Should YouTube take down videos? I think that YouTube should take down videos that promote a crime. I think even if it's a hate crime, I know some people don't disagree with that. I believe that YouTube should absolutely take down any videos that are recruiting for terrorists or terrorist organizations. You will never get me to back down from that one. If it is a video that promotes that, YouTube should crush it into oblivion and cast its ashes into the wind. In my opinion. And if that makes me someone who's attacking free speech, then I guess that I'm on the censorship bandwagon if that's the case. But I'm fully against that. They should take down any videos that promote or encourage recruitment of terrorism or criminal organizations. 110%. I'm not backing down on that. So when they say they want a tougher stance on hate speech, they want a tougher stance on anyone who is harassing or attacking people on race, religion, or gender, I agree with that. It's within their bounds as a privately owned company to do that, and I think advertiser confidence will be improved for that. I don't see a problem with that personally. That's me. We'll talk about it. Strengthening advertiser controls on display ads. I'm all for it. As someone who wants to do advertising in this platform, I want that. I want advertisers to have more control over what they want to run ads against and what they don't want to run ads against. So, and I think that we can all agree to that. And I think if advertisers have more control over that, maybe it means that we all actually do make more money, because if advertiser confidence increases, we don't lose the potential $10 billion in ad revenue that might be going away now. We don't lose that as creators. That strengthens our pool of money that comes in, and it funnels down to creators big and small. So I'm okay with that. As someone who wants to advertise in this platform and someone who has clients to advertise in this platform, yes, give me more video ad and display ad controls, please. Thank you. But here's another thing though. YouTube AdSense and Google AdSense, if people go into AdWords, and I was a marketing manager, I managed huge campaigns, I still do that for clients sometimes on the consulting side, we've always had the ability on some level to control what ads are played against what content if we don't want our ads to show up somewhere. Those controls are very vague, and you have to be a little technical and be an AdWords wizard to use them properly, but they do exist. But most advertising and marketing folks aren't as technical as one would hope, and so I understand where that becomes a problem. And so making more easy to use controls is probably for the best. I think that will help people. And again, I think that if advertisers can control where their ads go a little bit more, it could actually help small YouTubers a lot too, because maybe there's a better YouTuber that's a better fit, that's a small YouTuber, and maybe if they have more control, they get to decide that. We'll have to see what they decide these new video ad controls look like, but I'm actually excited for that personally. Now, accelerating appeals. This is a crucial thing. If videos are unfairly flagged and demonetized, then accelerating appeals becomes important. I don't know how YouTube is going to do this. I don't know if they hire more people and more staff to do this. I don't know if they crowdsource it. But I think accelerating the appeals process is very good, and I guess they can't give us all the details on that. That sounds super vague, but as long as they honor that promise, I'm good with that. I would be happy with YouTube accelerating appeals so that you're not left in limbo if your video is demonetized, because it's crucial. So there's that. Safeguarding creators in our YouTube partner program. So this was a more vague point that they made. And I don't know what it means, because they say that they want to put more protections and safeguards to prevent abuse that hurts their earnings, like impersonation of their channels. So I that sounds really vague, and I wish they had gone into more detail there. So that's concerning to me. I don't know what they're going to do. I would love more elaboration from them on that. And the other thing they say here, though, is that they rolled out the partner program 10 years ago. They did, but not everyone could become a YouTube partner 10 years ago. Everyone can become a YouTube partner as of 2012. That's why the modern age of YouTube didn't really get going until 2012, is because they opened the partner program up to almost everybody versus you having to meet certain criteria. So I like YouTube, you know, be clear about things. Let's be honest and transparent about when you did certain things. Because technically that's true, but I felt like that was a little misleading. Restating their commitment to diversity. This has more to do with the YouTube restricted mode and saying, hey, we're not censoring people. Hey, we're not censoring people. And, you know, the YouTube restricted mode only became an issue mostly when LGBTQ community people brought it to people's attention, but that still represents less than 1.5% of people, and YouTube restricted mode is for the people who want to opt out. And the thing is, the reason someone might be using YouTube restricted mode, and the reason I think it might have flagged some LGBTQ videos, is what if somebody is LGBTQ and they're not out yet? Maybe they don't want someone seeing what they're looking at. Maybe they don't want someone at work seeing what they might have searched on in the past and what's showing up in their feed is recommended, because that's all based on user behavior. So YouTube restricted mode actually might help some people who are in the LGBT community who are not out yet. And also there are people who might be looking at things that are not safe for work or not safe for school, and now when they log in at a different workstation that's more publicly available, they want to be in restricted mode because they don't want people to see what's in their history or what's recommended if they leave their homepage up. So I think that the YouTube restricted mode controversy and the freedom of speech, YouTube had to counter that and be more transparent. But I don't think they did anything wrong there, and I think that that was overhyped and overplayed, and I think it's more of the YouTube party is over nonsense. So that's something that bothers me a lot, but I understand why they had to restate it here. I also know that because of how much of this is tied to hate speech, that people are worried about that too. And again, it's a matter of, it's not about YouTube saying, yeah, we're going to take down your content. It's a matter of, what do you have the right to monetize? And that decision partly is in the hands of YouTube as a privately held company that has to answer to advertisers for its revenue, and advertisers that don't want their brands damaged by what people choose to create. And so you can't make that a freedom of speech issue in the context of capitalism and how privately held companies and organizations work, because it's their money. You don't get to have free speech at the expense of their money. That's just not right, to be honest. Speaking as a capitalist, speaking as a small business owner, you don't get to leverage my money or my resources to say something that I disagree with. You have the right to say things that I disagree with on your own dime, but not using my resources and my servers and my money, and not to the detriment of my partnerships and my advertisers, because that's a real thing. I mean, I don't think any of you would like someone to, like, counter you or do something that's not in your interest and use your money to do it. Or use your resources to do it, or to do it in your own home. Like, I mean, I think that that's just real. So I think that my thoughts on this come down to, and then we're going to do some Q&A here. My thoughts come down to, I think that this is a power play by advertisers. And I think they're using their leverage, and from a corporate side, that's within their rights and that's appropriate to do, and it's smart. I don't love it as a creator. It doesn't negatively impact me, though, because of the type of content I create, but that doesn't mean that I'm like, yay, advertisers, yay, corporatists. No, I think that it restricts some of the voices that can be here on YouTube, because to be fair, while people may not have the right to make money on any content they want, there are people who do want to use this as a way to make a living, and they can't do that if their content or the type of content they can make money on is restricted in some cases. But I think the overwhelming 95% of YouTube creators will be fine, and I don't think that they should be dragged down or burdened by the handful of people who might be offensive or inflammatory political commentators, the handful of people that are criminals or scumbags who recruit for terrorists, the handful of people that want to do raunchy content that pushes the envelope, the handful of people that want to do offensive comedy and ride the line. I don't think the 95% of content creators who are, out there should be dragged down by the 5 to 1% of people who feel like they should have the right to do whatever they want no matter who gets hurt. I will always fight for that 95% of people in the YouTube community over the 5% of people who are the exceptions of the rule. It's why it was hard, although I felt like I was neutral. It's why it was hard for me to defend some of PewDiePie's stuff, is because it creates situations in a news cycle like this where this puts advertisers and business people on the defensive where YouTube is concerned. It makes them view the platform in a negative light, because think about this. This is coming on the heels of a lot of YouTube controversies and YouTubers being in the news in a negative way between what we've seen and now. $10 billion of YouTube ad revenue and Google ad revenue that goes to publishers and websites that aren't on YouTube that just publish, and podcast and other creators outside of YouTube. All creators in all platforms that use Google AdSense to make their living are negatively impacted by this, and it's because it got people's attention. Negative YouTube news got people's attention who write the checks and subsidize what we do as content creators. And that's where things become problematic for me, and it's why it becomes hard for me to defend the freedom of speech of when people do that kind of content. When people, even if it's taken out of context, it creates a news cycle that hurts the rest of us. So when you look at, well, JonTron did this, or PewDiePie did this, or this person did that, or whatever, and then you look at that they make up a minority of the YouTube community, whether you like them or hate them, whether you're a fan or not, and it starts to affect your YouTube ad money and the ad money of people outside the YouTube platform that still use Google AdSense, and also Google web developers. What if you're a web developer or programmer and you made an app that uses Google AdSense, and now because Verizon and AT&T and Kia and so many others and BBC pull their money, you're losing money and you had nothing to do with YouTube controversies? That's a problem. And so while I appreciate the arguments for free speech, while I appreciate that people feel like sometimes comedy has to ride a line, I get all of that. But what I get more is that the rest of us who aren't doing that still want to make money on this platform. And do we deserve to carry the burden of the 1 to 5%? Do the 95% of the rest of us deserve to make less money? Do we deserve to make less money? So I think that's the deal. And again, I think advertisers have the right to say, I don't want to spend money on this. And I don't think that's a right or wrong issue. I think that the advertisers, want to say, hey, I don't want my thing to finance this. Geek Outdoors, thank you for the $10 donation via Super Chat. That's the other thing. If you want to support content creators, you love, if they do live streams on YouTube Super Chat, support them. If you love a content creator and you don't want them to change a thing and YouTube is demonetizing their content, stand with them, not by tweeting and doing hashtags, stand with them by donating to them when they live stream, stand by them by donating to their Patreons, stand by them by buying their merchandise. Finance the creators that you believe in if you're so worried about it. And the Angry Pepper, I'm not going to repeat his comment here, but he says that he believes that how are they going to differentiate what's hate and not. And by the way, the Angry Prepper, I don't appreciate you disrespecting my comments section with using certain language, because I think I set a tone and a standard by keeping the content clean and keeping it safe for work for people who want to watch or listen while they're at work. And also we have young people in the audience. I think that the way you chose to phrase this, you could have been it's not a matter of being politically correct or being PC. It's a matter of you're disrespecting the audience. You're disrespecting me as a creator by what I've set a standard for by deciding how you're going to phrase something, and I don't appreciate that. That's something I actually ban people over, because it's not about people being easily offended. It's about what is their situation. Are they watching this with their kid? Are they in school right now? Are they at work? And has that impact them? That's why I don't use certain language in my videos, which I might do differently if I'm at a bar with friends or something like that, or I'm at a party. I might use different language. But knowing that someone in my audience might be in school or at work or watching something with their children, I'm not going to do that, and that's not being inauthentic. It's being respectful in the same way I don't use certain language in front of my goddaughter. I don't use certain language in front of my friends' children. That's just I think what's being raised right personally. That's me. That's what I think good old-fashioned family values say is the right thing, if you want to go there. So it's not about people being easily offended. It's about you can make whatever content you want. You can, and if you want to make content that might be controversial, you can do that. An advertiser has the right to say, not on my dime. Not taking money. You can do that, but you're not going to take money out of my wallet to do it. That's what an advertiser gets to say. A platform gets to say, hey, if you are damaging what my brand is worth to the tune of $10 million, if you're damaging my company to the tune of $10 billion, screw what you want to do. Screw what you want to say. Sorry, that's just truth. It's like $10 billion versus letting you run off at the mouth because you're anti-PC or you're anti-this or you're anti-that. You can do that on your own dime. You can rent out a hall somewhere and pack it with people and charge tickets and admission for that. You don't get to hurt my stock, my shareholders, my investors. You don't get to take money from my advertisers. That's just real. That's called capitalism. Spoon of Consciousness says, hey, RB, are you open to do interviews for blog? Love it. I want to do interviews for blogs and podcasts. I love it. Yeah, I'll do interviews. Yeah. So, that's what I believe. Keep it real. Thomas Jordan TV says, I did a video on PewDiePie recently you commented on. You're right about the advertisers and creators. I still want to believe things will change for the better soon. Yeah, Thomas Jordan TV did a great video on the PewDiePie situation, and I do want to believe that things will change for the better. I really do, because, again, I have all sides of this. I worked in advertising. I still work closely with advertisers and small businesses. That's part of my company. I want to do advertising for products and things in the future. I really do. And so I think that, we have to understand what this really looks like from the perspective of all parties. There are creators outside of YouTube that are negatively impacted by what we do here in the platform if it affects Google's AdSense revenue and AdWords revenue. That affects other people beyond us. The 5 or 1% of creators who do certain things that negatively impact us, the 95% of us bear the burden and the cost of that. So, that is where I draw certain lines. And that's why it's for me, it's not about PC or anti-PC. It's not about people being offended. This really comes down to, do you get to do this on somebody else's dime? And how does this affect the other people in the community? And not about their offense. It's affecting people's livelihoods. 95% of YouTubers should not bear the burden of what someone gets to do as a political commentator, what somebody gets to do as what someone who decides that they hate this or they hate that, and they feel so vocal about it. Should we, as the YouTube community, pay for them? Should we bear the cost? Should our revenue be negatively impacted for the few? That's what my issue is. The Angry Prepper, it's not about the question, it was the phrasing. You used language that isn't safe for work for somebody to say out loud if they read your comment out loud in the office. That's my issue. And then for you to use a phrase like you got offended by a simple question that wasn't directed at you, you're a part of the problem. That mentality right there is part of why we're having a conversation about people who make not advertiser-friendly content that are, frankly, in my opinion, not respecting capitalism and commerce, wanting to do whatever they want and saying, well, if you're offended, that's your problem. Well, when somebody else is paying the bill, you make it other people's problem. You make it my problem when you want to do whatever you want to do and use whatever language you want to use, whether it's cursing, whether it's derogatory toward groups, whether it's this. When you want to do something that makes advertisers question the competency of a platform to deliver for them, and it takes money out of my pocket, I get offended about you coming after my money because you want to say whatever you want. I get offended when you come after my money by saying you want to say whatever you want and I lose 5%, 10%, heck, if I lose $3, you made it my problem, and then maybe I want to kind of sort of come after you. Hashtag not really, I'm not going to come after you. That's what henchmen are for. Hashtag also just kidding. Also hashtag I'm now hiring henchmen. So yeah, Angry Prepper, be on the lookout for henchmen. Hashtag LOLJK. Because, you know, comedy shouldn't offend people, right? Picture Fit says, keep it real, brother. Always, 110%. Leslie Samuel, met you at Social Media Marketing World. It was great talking with you. Testing out Super Chat for the first time. Just want to see how it works. And because I like what you're saying, keep it up. Thank you so much. So that's what my deal is. And again, more than anything, I'm thinking about the YouTube community as a whole here. And I think that most people, the skin we have in the game is we don't care about people having the freedom to say, I hate this, I hate that, I hate... What we care about is, can we make goofy, silly videos and still make money? Can we make tutorials and still make money? Or are they going to take down a platform that gave us a voice to do things that we wanted to do and to find like-minded people like us? I mean, we care about that, I think, more than anything. We care about how this affects us, not some theoretical conversation around what free speech is or isn't when you're talking about a corporate private platform, a technology platform. That is what we're talking about here. I don't think that we want to bear the burden of that. I think that there's a lot of content on YouTube that is controversial that should challenge assumptions and should ask a question. But I also don't necessarily think that an advertiser shouldn't be able to say, hey, that doesn't fit my brand values, so I still have to keep paying for that? That's not fair. That's not right. That's not capitalism. That's not American, in my opinion. And this goes beyond America. I mean, the BBC had issues with this as well. But, like, that's where I stand on this. So I think it's appropriate for advertisers to make the decision what they want to spend money on. More than anything, I really believe in that. And I also think that creators, if you're going to do controversial content, feel free to do that and understand that it will be demonetized. And so maybe you do what Scorsese said. Scorsese, if you don't know, is one of the most prolific filmmakers of all time. And Martin Scorsese said this. He said, I do one for them and I do one for me. If you are a new YouTube news channel and you want to make non-advertiser friendly content, then do that. And then make a video that's advertiser friendly so that you still make revenue. As a business person, my advice to you is if you want to make controversial content on YouTube and it's going to be demonetized, build a business outside of YouTube or build a secondary channel that's advertiser friendly that rakes in the cash. It's not complicated. Like, let's be real about this. Let's be smart. Let's be capitalistic. YouTube wants advertiser friendly content. Let me make an advertiser-friendly series of videos that rake in tremendous monetary value for me. And then, because I'm authentic and real, let me do this other thing, and I won't even attempt to monetize it because it's just being real. And people who want to support that can use things like Super Chat or Patreon or buy my merch. And then it's still a revenue stream, and maybe they take me even more seriously because I decided to demonetize it myself before they could. How is that not practical? How's that not practical? Isn't that smart? Isn't that practical? Don't you take people a little bit more seriously when they think smart? Crystal Knowles did a $10 super chat, says, people should be paid for their knowledge. Thank you, exclamation point. Thank you, Crystal Knowles. I super appreciate you supporting the channel and what I do here. And, there's another great point here. Guardian Soul Blade says, you can always appeal demonetized videos. Absolutely. You can already, Philip Defranco covered this. He had 10 videos that were demonetized because of subjects that they covered, and he appealed them, and they were older videos, so he already made 90-95% of the revenue he was going to make on them because of how his content works. So there, that's something that we can look at, is that the appeal process is being accelerated, so that's important. Rainey Robinson says, I just found your channel today, and I'm so glad your viewpoint is so encouraging, and we need more people like you. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Let's see. There was another interesting comment here. Fully Armed and Filthy Gaming says, I feel like the language in my videos goes out of what many people would call advertiser friendly. What you mean about using safe language, I know what you mean about using safe language, but I think that the content itself is a safe type of content. I don't disagree with that, because gaming can be like that, and I remember how I was when I was an Xbox gamer, so I totally hear where you're coming from, and I think that that's why there's an appeals process, and I think there are advertisers who will be okay with that. So I think that that matters, but I also would encourage you to use other revenue streams. It's why I did my 10 ways to make money on YouTube series, and why I'm going to do a newer version of that and update it, and why I'm going to talk more about ways you can monetize on YouTube aside from AdSense, because I think it's important to have a revenue stream that is not in the hands solely of the advertisers. And so I would encourage you as a gamer to look at affiliate marketing and sell the links in affiliate marketing from Amazon from your gaming setup, and for things like that, I would look into sponsorship so that you can go directly to advertisers and say, hey, I think that my brand is okay for you, or what would you consider to be more favorable? Talk directly to the brands, reach out, work with them, find a balance, and and understand where a line might be for you personally and professionally. Clover Tax says, there are other ways of revenue affiliation. Absolutely. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Clover Tax. Super appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, I'm trying to figure out, because, by the way, it keeps track of everyone who donates with super chat. I'm going to find some kind of, download pack or thank you or exclusive video thing to do for everybody who does super chat, because I want to say thank you beyond, I want to say thank you beyond saying thank you here and acknowledging you in the stream. I want to find a way to do that and to find a way to give something back to you. So I'm going to figure that out. And I'll take recommendations on what do you guys want as a free giveaway pack for the super chat stuff. Do you guys want a Photoshop YouTube artwork template or something like that? Do you want a desktop background of some of my personal artwork that I've made? What do you guys want as a thank you? If you've donated to super chat. Cooking with Black Girls LLC donated $10. Thank you so much for that. The Angry Prepper says, you never really answer the question, how is YouTube going to differentiate what's hate speech, what's extremist, and what's not? Like I said, people get offended easily and can easily report you. Angry Prepper, I really do agree with that. Thank you for rephrasing the question. I appreciate that. And I think I answered it earlier, but you may not have been here because I was talking about the artificial intelligence and the algorithm. So the way that I believe that YouTube is going to counteract this is threefold. I think that they're going to beef up things that I know they've already been experimenting with, the artificial intelligence and AI in preparation for YouTube TV, like Tim Schmoyer and I covered together in our live stream about that. So I believe the artificial intelligence, because YouTube is leveraging what they call machine learning. I don't know how many of you know about that, and it might be over certain people's heads. One of the videos, because I usually go off the top of my head, one of the few videos that I'm going to have to script and research in the next couple of weeks is around explaining machine learning and artificial intelligence, because explaining and articulating that to the average person has always been very challenging, and I think I can pull it off from my level of understanding as someone who loves tech and was in the web development space and who talks to engineers and programmers all the time. Those are who my homies are. I want to bring that conversation up, but they're going to use part of that, and part of that is also they're going to enhance something I don't talk about is the artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to lead to more accurate closed captioning. So it's going to get transcriptions of that. It's learning it through other languages. When we all submit accurate closed captioning through the YouTube contributor process for closed captioning, it helps with more accurate and detailed transcriptions in language, which helps the machine learning to break our stuff down. So it will be able to figure that out more, and we'll be able to put it into a queue, probably using cron jobs. Again, more technical speak. Okay, here's how I can break this down without going into the technical babble. It's going to use a programmatic approach where the robots are going to do their best to figure it out. The false reporting is going to have more accelerated appeals, as YouTube said, in terms of human vetting there. And YouTube Heroes is going to also crowdsource a lot of this. And then again, it'll be into human moderation with some of that. And so a combination of human moderation, the algorithm, crowdsourcing, and then a rapid appeals process are what is going to be in play. That is what's going to happen here. Penalties for false reporting are also part of the YouTube Heroes initiative, so that is also going to be in play as well to try to counteract that. So I hope that addresses some of your concerns. YouTube is on it. They are not perfect, but they get more right than wrong. So I understand that. And again, if your goal is to use this platform as a business and a revenue stream, the odds are avoiding things that could offend people, that's capitalistic. I want to reiterate that. Businesses that want to make money try not to offend people. If you're on YouTube to use it as a business, maybe you don't try to offend people or be controversial. That's just pragmatism. That's just ruthless pragmatism. That's just respecting money. Respect money, people. That's like, if you want to talk about what's going on culturally in this generation and here in America that I'm troubled by, you might be troubled by things like what you think of as people being emasculated, or you might feel that people are so easily offended, this whole snowflake narrative. You know what's more troubling to me than all of that? People as a culture and in a generation right now not respecting money. That's troubling to me. I grew up with Scrooge McDuck as one of my childhood heroes. I was a big DuckTales fan, and my childhood nickname for friends and family was Scrooge McDuck, and I take great pride in that. I take great pride in that. I am capitalistic through and through. I respect money. And I'm troubled when other people don't respect money. Hulky Beats donated €7 via Super Chat. Hey, Roberto, huge fan. Does YouTube reward your channel as it ages? Also, I am at a disadvantage since I only upload short videos. Should I go daily? Great question. YouTube doesn't exactly reward a channel as it ages. However, it can reward you on volume of content if your volume of content is evergreen, because you might have more of a presence in the algorithm. If your content is search friendly, the more of you have over time, the more people find you, discover you, subscribe, the more ad revenue it generates over time. It's why videos of mine from 2 years ago, still make me sometimes hundreds of dollars a month on old content because it's still relevant today because it's a tutorial or something. So it depends on the nature of your content. In your case, you're doing short form videos. If they're short form videos and they're still being shared in social media, or you have a distribution strategy, they can still benefit you. I don't know if you should go daily. If you can sustain daily without any negative consequences to you personally, or getting overburdened or overworked or burnt out, then it could be an advantage. And I think you certainly might make more money. But I think that's something you should look at. Yep. So that's where I'm coming from. Yeah, a lot of people here are saying yes, respect money in the comments. I agree with that. Of course, I agree with that. College Gun Girl says, or respecting each other. I believe in that too. That's something that I also have a problem with, is people not respecting one another. The reason that I keep my content clean and classy is because I want to know that if my friends' children want to become creative entrepreneurs, or they want to become artists, and they're 8, 10, 12, it's not about being kid-friendly so much as I want people to have that option. If they're 10 or 12, I don't want their parents to feel weird about them watching my content because, oh, he's dropping F-bombs every minute. I want parents to be able to say, hey, if you really want to become an artist, or you want to become a web developer, you want to become a programmer, you want to become a musician, or you want to become a YouTuber, and you're watching my content, I want parents to feel that it's appropriate and safe and to encourage it, and not for their kids to have to sneak around. I want people to be able to use my materials in a classroom if they want to, if they feel it's helpful. I want people to be able to use this at work and use it in a training if they feel that it's appropriate. So that's where I'm coming from. And that's where my stance is. And I think that if you want to scale on YouTube in the long term, then doing that is probably in your best interest as far as the money goes, and as far as the people goes, and as far as building relationships and networking. I think that that's going to help you. Where are they now? Donated $10 in Super Chat. been following for a while on my main channel and just realized I wasn't following you on this one too. Love your content, man. Keep up the great work. From Indigo Reviews. Thank you so much, Indigo Reviews, and where are they now? Really appreciate you. Wes, that tech guy. Roberto, thanks for all the great videos and content and knowledge. Thank you so much for everybody who's donating in the super chat. Also, again, I need suggestions as to what my gift is for people who do super chat, because it keeps track of all of you in my YouTube analytics, and that means I'll be able to contact you on the back end of your channel, and so I will be able to give you the download link for whatever I decide is the free thing. Should I change the free thing up every month? Let me know. I want that feedback, and let me know in Twitter, just in case the super chat stuff goes away. Let me know in Twitter what you guys want potentially as a free giveaway. Do you want as a free download? Do you guys want a template? Do you want some kind of exclusive ebook or slide deck? Do you want a Photoshop template for YouTube channel art or for thumbnails? Do you want a personal, some group personalized video from me of some kind that might be some extra tips or advice, raw, unedited? What do you guys want? Do you guys want a zip file of some of my drone footage for you guys to edit? Let me know. Fully Armed and Filthy Game says, you have a very realistic approach to this whole thing, which is admirable. I would love to pick your brain about potential growth and the current future of channels like mine. Fully Armed and Filthy Gaming, you should check out soundcloud.com/RobertoBlake2, because I did an audio dump of YouTube gamer advice that was 20 minutes of raw, here's what I would do. I think you'd love that. Guardian Dog says McDuck never gets enough credit. Absolutely, Scrooge McDuck never gets enough credit. Glad that we're bringing it back. So that matters. Clovertax says you also have to promote the channel to the demographic you are trying to reach. I spent a lot of time with groups, forums, and sites for sharing content. You gotta do the work. Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate that. So guys, I've done an hour covering this topic. And I also have links in the description below for the articles I referenced, the numbers I referenced. Also, I would love for you guys to check out Philip Defranco's video and his take on this. So I covered that. But what I want to definitely say here is that we're going to go into Q&A now. So I want to answer you guys' questions for about maybe 20 minutes so that we can keep this live stream not too long. And the thing is, aside from this live stream, I have literally 2 or 3 videos that I need to get out today. I have to get out yesterday's graphic design video that I have to finish the thumbnail for, and I have to get out a tech video that I already shot. But do I want to release that one, or do I want another one? I've got to get out a tech video by at least midnight tonight, and then tomorrow I've got to release creative thoughts, and I've got to upload some videos because I'm sneaking into New York for a private event and going there for 2 days and then flying back. So I have to get some content that's in place while I'm traveling. And then, guys, I might vlog creative thoughts every day in April as part of SSS Veda. Vlog every day in April from Savvy Sexy Social. I might be participating in that and doing 30 days of creative thoughts. So I have to gear up for that as well. So those are sneak peeks at things that are coming. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Doing it with Jason, just donated $5 in the super chat. Love your videos. A great gift would be just to smile and wave. Okay. Smile and wave, right? All right, so there's your gift. So those things. Will you ever be doing a channel review live? I don't know. That could be interesting. I'd have to talk to somebody, and I'd have to see what we can do with that. But I am going to, by the way, finish my YouTube 30 of 30 channel review series, and I'm in talks with TubeBuddy about how we can do more YouTube channel reviews. So that's something we're looking at. Also, I have case studies and interviews with people whose channels I reviewed in the past and what happened with them, so you can see how they grew. There's, in fact, an interview that I have coming up with somebody from this community that, with my advice, she took my advice when I did a review on her channel, and she grew from 4,000 subscribers to over 80,000 subscribers in 8 months. We have somebody else who grew from, I think 2,000 subscribers to almost 30,000 in about the same time. So we have a lot of those case studies and interviews coming up. Hulky Beats just donated another €6 in the super chat. Thanks, Roberto. My average view retention is 39%. Is this hurting me? By the way, lots of people with my type of channel, beats, but no videos on it. Hint. Okay. So let me talk about that, and let me go into Q&A real quick for you guys. All right, so with regard to your retention rates, if you have 39%, the odds are that your retention rate is higher than most people's, because the average retention rate, I think, is between 20 and 30% on average. Now, with audio is, audio should have larger retention rates, and I think you're benefiting with that. So I think that's actually helping you. Overall cumulative watch time matters more than whether someone watches to the end of a video or not. So keep that in mind. Also, remember, that is an average. Your average is being weighed down by the bottom. So take that with a grain of salt. Most people are probably watching your videos more than 50% of the way through. The averages that are extremes on the bottom are weighting that very heavily. So guys, your retention rates and your averages in YouTube matter, but you're overemphasizing that and forgetting what an average is. And a 0 or something really hurts the average, even if it's just one person sometimes. So remember how averages work from schools, from when you were in school taking math classes. Remember how averages really work, and understand that that number doesn't mean that people... It doesn't mean you're putting more weight to it than it should have. It doesn't mean what people think it means. That's my answer to it. Hangzilla says, Roberto, search engines have a hard time with satire comedy, in my opinion. How do you get a video with a silly title or parody title to rank well? Thanks for everything you do. Great question. I would say that in that case, you have to rely more on related videos, and you have to rely more on user behavior, and you might have to have a distribution strategy that exists outside of YouTube to push that more, so that you get higher view velocity in the first hour, the first 24 hours, and the first 48 hours. I don't think you guys have heard me mention this before, and I'll show you guys. There's a video that I'll do. You want to hit the notification squad bell, because I don't know when I'll do this, but there's a video that I'll have coming out within the next 2 or 3 weeks that talks about YouTube's secret triggers. And the first hour, 24 hours, 48 hours, and the first week and the first 30 days of a video's lifetime actually matter the most. And identifying those secret triggers, I'll show you exactly how I find those in the upcoming video. But there are things like that that make a difference, that trigger YouTube to promote a video more heavily. And so increasing the views and the minutes watched during those time frames is your overall focus, and you can get more distribution because you'll be recommended on user behavior in people's homepage, not on search, but on you watch this video and it's very similar to this video. So if you're doing satire and comedy and those kind of things, or even vlogs, if it can't be search friendly, it has to be recommended friendly. So you have to then think of how to appeal to things that other people are watching, and that's why you'll find people doing tag videos that then populates other tag videos, and people watch that using playlist hacks. Those are the real answer. So focus on related and recommended and optimize for that rather than for raw search. That would be my answer. JL Brands Productions. I hope that helped, by the way. JL Brands Productions. What are your thoughts on Snapchat to build a YouTube community? More thoughts on Snapchat in general. Snapchat is not good for funneling to YouTube, in my opinion. It's good for extracting more attention from your existing audience. Snapchat doesn't build other platforms. Other platforms build Snapchat. That's how it works. Snapchat only builds your personal brand, in my opinion and in my experience. So I don't expect you can siphon a lot of value for your YouTube channel from Snapchat. I would say you could with Instagram and Instagram stories, and Instagram lets you link out. So, and if you have a verified Instagram account, you can use the swipe up and you can get more out of that. So that's what I would say. And Instagram now has the attention graph equally, if not more, than Snapchat. It surpassed it in some ways. So that's what I would say. As for Snapchat, I might do a video about this. Snapchat might be dead in the next 3 to 5 years, and their IPO went bust. I actually lost money in the Snapchat IPO, but I've regained some of it a little bit as the stock has bounced back. But it was a good lesson in investing in tech IPOs. So, lesson learned. But yeah, Snapchat, I'm not against it. I have a lot of homies that are big Snapchat proponents. practicality-wise, I can see specific plays for it, but I'm not all in on it, nor would I advise anyone to be. Comic Exchange Show says, what are specific things not to do on our channels to avoid this? Right now, I don't smoke, curse, or do controversial content, but others who are doing the same thing are reporting problems. Okay, so other people in your community are seeing issues and problems with this. My answer would be, first of all, definitely use the appeals process whenever possible, and really think about, go back and look at the YouTube community guidelines as are listed on YouTube's help page, and then look at channels that are doing what you're doing. If it's comedy, look at Swoozy, look at Lily Singh, look at people like that that are doing comedy and not having any problems, and then that shows you where the line might be. That'd be my answer. Fully Armed and Filthy Gaming says, I feel like I'm spamming now, but I had to ask, what would you say about having a gaming channel and a second non-gaming one? Also, I'd be willing to have a channel review. If you think you can put in the time and energy and do a non-gaming channel, definitely look at doing that, especially with how saturated gaming is. Although I don't think saturation in itself is the major problem with gaming. I think it's not doing it differently than other people. I think you have to bring something interesting and unique to the table, so that matters. Crystal Taylor donated $10 in Super Chat. Love your videos about YouTube and your Adobe Creative Cloud. Keep up the great work. Yeah, there'll be more Adobe tutorials coming in the future, so don't think that those are going away. I'm just trying to raise the production value of my tutorial videos and do more cutaways, and so there's more things I'm looking to do with that. Alex, I'll have to look at the channel and see if it fits in something I haven't already covered, because with the channel reviews, I'm trying to go for diversity of content. So I'm trying to do that. Geek Outdoors, do you think channels that only rely on views, popularity, AdSense survive after YouTube TV and more advertisers exert more requirements like traditional media platforms? Fantastic question. I love this question. So, do I feel that channels that rely only on views and popularity and AdSense to survive will survive after YouTube TV and with advertisers exerting more leverage? I think it will be tremendously difficult for them, which is why I do videos like my YouTube Money series and my How to Make Money on YouTube series that breaks down all these different things you can do. How to do affiliate marketing, how to do sponsorships, how to sell merchandise, how to build a business and brand outside of YouTube, how to look at doing things like courses or books or info products or selling artwork or doing fan funding and donations. Is because that's a problem. I don't know how some channels, if advertisers exert even more leverage, do survive. Certain channels, I don't know how they might survive on YouTube or what might happen to them. And I think there's a shift. But I also think when a shift and disruption happens, it's a great opportunity. I also think it's a tremendous opportunity. And I think people who play it smart can leverage it. And I think also diversifying your money, diversifying your revenue streams is what the wealthy do. So I always look at that. Model success, model the wealthy. And they diversify their revenue streams. So I would too. Esther I think I'm pronouncing that right, says Chilcut, says, video buffering is really bad for me. Please post this video soon, and also possible to do a fans support video. Okay, awesome. And I'd love some feedback on how to do like a fan support video. So that would be cool, guys. Super appreciate everybody donating in Super Chat. It means the world to me that you guys support the content. And I encourage you, as advertisers exert more leverage, please support creators you believe in, whether it's me, whether it's Tim Schmoyer, whether it's Sarah Dici, whether it's PewDiePie, whether it's Casey Neistat. Find ways to support them. Buy merchandise. Donate to Patreon. Do what you can to support content that you love, especially if you don't want it to change. If you don't want YouTube creators to change their content to try to censor themselves, if you feel that's a thing and you feel that they're going to change to be more advertiser friendly, then you have to support them monetarily. And $5, $2, it goes a long way. It helps. Every little bit helps. I mean, imagine if most of the people that are subscribed to even the biggest YouTubers all donated $1 or $2 a month, those YouTubers could probably just turn off ads altogether and still make the same amount of money or more money and never change their content and never be beholden to advertisers. If you're worried about corporate interest getting their hooks into YouTube, support the creators that you believe in the most and that do content that you love, even if it's $2. And again, I know you can't do that for every creator you're subscribed to. Maybe you're subscribed to like 300 creators and maybe they're all awesome, but just do what you can where you can to support creativity. I have a vlog that I'm going to do in my creative thoughts series about like the fact that people don't support the arts and people don't support creativity, because that really matters to me. Having people patronize the arts and creators and filmmakers and YouTubers and artists and designers, it's important because it's the only way that many of them can continue to do the work that they do and to do it on their own terms. So I just really feel that that's important. So there's a comment here. How do I Andrew F says, how do I start my own side hustle even when on Hangouts on Air can say no? Just curious, have you gotten this question before? I would say that with regard to a side hustle look, you have to think about what you like and what you're good at and make it practical. And then even though people can say no, you have to find out what will people say yes to, and then you leverage that. So that's why I would say matters. King V says, what do you enjoy the most about YouTube, Roberto? This is a great question. I love that YouTube is, for me personally, a creative outlet that I can use all my skills for. And that's what I think for me is the thing I love most about it. DKK, no wait, Zaggy DK donated $50 Denmark, which I think translates to about $10 US, so, or maybe $5 or $10 US, so thank you for that. As a small gaming channel with a long way to go until Super Chats, what would you recommend? Patreon, or do you have better ideas to get support? So Zag, if you're a small gaming channel, I recommend not only reviewing video games and linking to stuff like that in Amazon, but consider getting an iTunes affiliate deal, which is easy enough to do, and do mobile app reviews and link to them in iTunes. So try mobile gaming reviews and get affiliate revenue. Also do reviews on your gaming setup and hardware and your computer PC build and link to that, and do Amazon affiliate and make money there. Do Patreon, of course. And then you only need 1,000 YouTube subscribers to get Super Chat. So reference my videos on growing a YouTube channel. See if that helps you. Bijou Mike used a lot of my advice, and he grew his gaming channel to like, I think, 350,000 subscribers now. So he's even surpassed me, and he started out with less subscribers than me and used my tactics to grow his gaming channel to surpass me. So if he can do that, I feel like many people in gaming could do that if they're good. So I'd recommend that. John Galt says, so to diversify, should we also upload to other platforms such as VidMe? I wouldn't say other platforms such as VidMe, even though it's an option, as much as I would say find other ways to make revenue. Find things like affiliate marketing, sponsorship, books, courses, downloads, artwork, whatever it is you can do to make money. Figure out that thing and figure out what you're comfortable with. Alan Rita asks, Roberto, multiple channels or a single channel with multiple content for starting and finding your voice? Some of us are not as lucky as you to know what to do and focus on. Even I experimented, and even I continue to experiment with my content. So I would say experiment and see what works, and when you find your voice, narrow your focus and double down. Valdez Brown says, what is Super Chat and how do I get involved? So Super Chat is where fans can actually donate to YouTubers in real time during their live streams, similar to the Twitch tip jar. And you can click on the little $sign. You can probably see it over here that's next to the smiley face when you write a comment. And you can donate from Google Wallet any amount of money that you choose to the person, and that's called Super Chat. Rourke asks, what do I enjoy about YouTube, and do I enjoy getting subscribers? If so, why? Subscribers, of course, I enjoy when people say that they support me and that they like the content, and that they want to come back. Of course, so I enjoy that. Did I get into YouTube for subscribers? No, I actually didn't think anyone would ever really subscribe to my channel. I thought that like I thought it would be like 6 years for me to get to 50,000 subscribers when I started doing YouTube, if I ever got to that. By the way, that's usually the norm. That's what normal looks like in YouTube, and people don't realize that because they see some people make it overnight, which isn't real. But so what I enjoy is I enjoy having conversations with you guys. I enjoy putting my stuff out into the world. More than anything, I enjoy that my content actually helps people with their careers and their lives. My content helps people make real money as creatives. They don't have to be starving artists. So I love that my content helps YouTube creators who are musicians, gamers, vloggers, filmmakers, photographers make money on YouTube. I love that my creative content helps designers and photographers and web designers and coders get jobs, helps marketers get jobs and get employment. I love that my stuff helps creative entrepreneurs hire people and build businesses. I love that it helps some stay-at-home parents make side money. That's what I love about YouTube, and that's why I'm in it for, is that's why it's a creative education channel. I could have gotten 1 million subscribers if I wanted to just talk about Game of Thrones. So, that's why I do YouTube. That's what I like about it. Zaki Prod says, will the ad revenue continue to go down? It depends on whether advertisers are satisfied with YouTube's response to their concerns and whether they continue to have confidence. So that's what I would say. Zaggy DK, what's the name of the gaming channel that my stuff helped? I mean, there are tons of them, but Bijou Mike is one of the biggest success stories in YouTube gaming as far as someone who's used my content to help them. So that matters. Prayer Kid, why so many people leaving YouTube? Some people will leave YouTube, some people won't. And the people who stick around will win. And people who leave, you quit, you lose. That's the game. So that's the answer. Zaki Prod, do I think the YouTube ad revenue will continue to go down? My prediction is we'll have to wait and see. While some advertisers pull their money, their competitors might see an opportunity. So, we'll see. Alan Rita says, sorry for spamming. This is very exciting. What type of content did you get started with? I got started with tutorials and talking about my career as a creative services professional, mainly photography and graphic design. Alex says, Roberto, not related to YouTube at all, but how do you fix traffic? Analyze the data that you already have and also reverse engineer people who are successful in your space. Kamari Kuntz says, can you do a video on how to pitch to brands for sponsorships? I've actually done a video covering that. I might do a follow-up video, but I've actually done that. Frostmare TV donated $10 Canadian. Thank you so much. Roberto, love your channel. Have a small horror channel. Just getting 500 views per hour on one of my latest videos. Because do you have any ideas on how to use that momentum? I would use that momentum by using YouTube info cards if you haven't already, and linking to your other videos and other playlists. I would use that momentum by sharing it in Twitter and in Instagram and Facebook. I would also see that if you have a video that's doing very popular, see if you can make a very similar video to that immediately and put out as many of those as you can. So those would be my answers. Jordan Taylor donated $2 via Super Chat. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. You guys are killing it with the Super Chat. Thank you. Adam Kaladin asked, what is your setup for live stream, Roberto? Logitech C922X Pro webcam. That is about $99. I could also just use my C920, which is $60. I bought those. Logitech didn't send that to me. They are friends of the channel. They've sponsored before. I can ask them for stuff. I just don't do it that often. I should ask for more stuff. I should ask for all the free things. So that's part of it. For the microphone here, I'm using the Audio-Technica ATR 2100, another $60 product. I'm putting that into a Behringer mixer, which is also $60. You can actually see my entire YouTube setup linked with the link in the description, or go to robertoblake.com/YouTube gear, and you can see all of my gear. And I'm using Wirecast Pro. You could use OBS if you don't want to pay $500 for that. I really dig that software because it lets me do. So yeah, that's how I roll for my live streaming setup. When I'm not using that though, if I want to use my DSLR, I use the Blackmagic Design Shuttle Intensity, which is a little dirty because it's on the floor. So I use that. That's $200 in hardware. So that's what I use. Should I create a Patreon? Says Hi Hacker. Yeah, maybe. If you have creators, if you have people that you think would support it, then you should. Leslie Samuel says, what's the split percentage on Super Chat? Great question. I should do a video about Super Chat and how that works. So the split on Super Chat is 70-30 to the creator, 30% to YouTube, 70% to the creator. You donate $10, I get $7. YouTube keeps $3. That's our relationship, which is still better than the AdSense split. So, you know, that's a thing. Adamax, is there a better way to accept donations without Super Chat and without losing substantial cut? Theoretically, Patreon. I like Super Chat because it happens in real time. Also, you could use a PayPal link. Adam Kaladin says, Roberto, I have 37,000 subs. I'm on YouTube for over 11 years, and thanks to help from guys like you, making YouTube gave me my first boost in a few weeks ago, and I have over 2 million views on one video. Congratulations, Adam. That is tremendous. Proud of you. Andrew F. says, can you eventually do a video on blocking negative content and negative traffic and preventing it from turning up on results? Just curious. Andrew, tweet at me with more details because I'm not entirely sure what you're asking there. Adam says, I want to donate $500 to you via Super Chat, but what cut will you actually receive? First of all, Adam, thank you so much. If you do donate $500 to me on Super Chat, I would receive 70% of that, which means that I get $70 for every 100, which means I'd get $350 and YouTube would get $150. So if you actually donated $500 via Super Chat, Adam, which I would love you forever for, then that's my cut. I'd get $350. Which probably means that I could buy half of a new camera lens with that. So that would be cool. I'd love to buy half of a new camera lens with that from your donation. So cool beans. Disc Read Air Gaming. What other media than Twitter would you recommend to grow awareness of your channel? I would say to build a community forum in Facebook for people that would watch your content, not as a Facebook fan group for your subscribers, but the general topic. Primary example is I could start a group for video producers, meaning people who buy cameras and lenses and things like that. And that's a group that it would make sense for me to promote awareness of some of my stuff in. I could start a group for video marketers. So that, yeah, that matters. Let's see. GameScope says, Roberto, why is it important for gaming channels to join an MCN? For gaming channels, it could be important to join an MCN because it could give them copyright protections. So it could help them with their fair use. That's why gaming channels might want to join an MCN. I'm not the biggest fan of MCNs. Sometimes you don't make more money. Sometimes they take what might be considered an unfair portion of your money. Hi Hacker says, since this video has no tags, how will YouTube promote this live stream right now? Using the description? Yeah, it'll use the title and it'll use the description. It also is using social signals and watch time and engagement. And so it's using that. It's also using the fact that I shared this out on social media and that people are tweeting it out. So all of those things are being used to promote it. The tags create context. Tags are about the relevancy portion of the algorithm for it to figure out how it relates to search and what else it's related to in terms of content. But it can use the title and description for that as well, and I take advantage of that. It's why I tell you guys, good titles and good descriptions is not just about the tags, but tags do help for context. So that's the reason. Yes, having a website is mission critical, especially if you do affiliate marketing. Couldn't agree more. I tell you guys all the time that if you're a YouTuber, have a website. Why? Affiliate revenue, and growing an email list and having a way to reach out to your subscribers no matter what. So those all matter tremendously. Could not stress that enough. And if you want to do a website, I recommend robertoblake.com/Bluehost and hostgator.com/Bluehost. Those are two web hosting companies that, when they're not sponsoring, but I use them and the reasons that I use them, and I use different web hosting companies just in case anything ever gets compromised. Not all of my properties are down because I have niche websites for the micro communities of video production and different articles and things that I do that are their own thing, like, you know, online video production or web development. And so I recommend having a website, if not multiple websites, as a YouTuber in terms of another way of making ad revenue, another way of making affiliate revenue, another way of getting sponsors. Huge tip for making money. TubeBuddy's in the house. How you guys doing? If you guys want a great tool to grow your YouTube channel, TubeBuddy.com/awesome. Linked in the description. TubeBuddy, thank you for supporting the live stream. Thank you for supporting YouTubers all around. Hashtag not sponsored today, but we have a sponsored video that will come up in about a week or two. I remember I haven't forgotten that sponsored video we're doing. So yeah. TubeBuddy works pretty well for me. Yep, absolutely. Arjuna Burger asks, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Roberto, do you think there will be a successful alternative to YouTube in the future since YouTube is making it harder for creators? I don't know. It's entirely possible, but I think that it's hard because YouTube's success is predicated by the early adoption of Google taking them in. And so I'm not sure that there's another company as big as Google in the tech space that can make an alternative to YouTube, and I don't think that Facebook has the culture for it. So we'll have to wait and see. All markets are open to disruption. Jay Rich just donated $5 via Super Chat. Thank you so much. Any good post-sync audio tips? Great work. Depends on what program you're using. I haven't run into audio syncing issues because I use Adobe Premiere, but if you don't let the audio completely import and preload, that could be a problem. So I haven't run into any audio syncing issues, but if you want somebody who would know about that, Mike Russell, look him up here on YouTube. He runs Music Radio Creative. And he has some of the best audio tutorials on the planet. Esther Chilcutt says, the video is cutting out and is crashing even when I try to send super chats. You've been a big help. We're just starting now to promote a non-profit organization. Oh, that is awesome, and thank you so much for the donation. If it's cutting in and out, that may be your internet connection. My stream has been healthy on this end the entire time because I put a new networking card into my computer. I have the most expensive connection I can with Time Warner, and I also I haven't replaced my modem and router yet, but I did just get those. Gear Best is a new sponsor, product sponsor for the channel, meaning they're not paying me money, but they send me stuff, and they just sent me like the fastest router that I can pretty much get. This is like a $300-400 wireless router, and so I'll have an unboxing video coming soon for this. So gearbest.com, guys. Again, product sponsor, not taking their money, but the reason is all the live streams I'm going to be doing, all of that stuff, wanting to upload massive 4K videos to YouTube, I needed a new infrastructure, so I bought an Asus wireless card out of pocket. I bought a new Motorola router, no, a Netgear router, no, Netgear modem, and then they sent me an Asus router, so that's going to be my new super fast internet connection streaming setup. It's like the fastest overall setup you can use for a fast internet connection, under $500 cumulatively. I think it's roughly under 500. Like, so that's coming up in the tech side for you guys. And then it means that these live streams will be even better quality in the future because there'll be nothing holding me back because I'll be using all the bandwidth, all the bandwidth. Alan Reyes says the video is super high quality and smooth. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did a lot of work to get there. I spent a lot of money. GameScope says PayPal is not supported in our country and 9% of networks pays through PayPal. Is there any MCN that pays with wire transfer? I think almost all of them do. So that's something I would look at. Roberto, thanks for the tip on audio. Mike Russell is awesome. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Showbro says, can you explain networks and the benefits and pros and cons of them? And Annie McGowan, I'll try and see if I can put links to people that I'm mentioning in this video. I'll try. It'll be hard to remember them all. I might need help with that. Networks, multi-channel networks, they promise a lot. They often don't deliver on it. That's what the cons come down to. The cons are they take some of your YouTube money on top of YouTube taking some of your YouTube money. The pros, if you have a lot of content that would be potentially fair use content and you need protections there, they can help with that. Sometimes they can protect you with fair use. Sometimes they have additional analytics that can be good for you. Sometimes they can hook you up with brand deals and sponsors. But everything that a multi-channel network offers, aside from copyright protection, is something you can achieve on your own using the 150, 160 videos that I've covered on this channel. You can get sponsors on your own without a multi-channel network. You can grow your audience without a multi-channel network. You can make money on YouTube and outside of YouTube without a multi-channel network. I have given you all of the tools in my videos to be successful without a multi-channel network taking your money. So I would encourage you to look at that. If you are doing stuff that would be subject to copyright, that's where you might need some help from them. So that's my answer. Queen Dweeb says, is it harder for new YouTubers to go to 100K plus? Do new YouTube channels more negatively affect us new YouTubers? No, it does not, and it's because I've seen people, especially people that have used my advice. Like Kimberlea is a YouTuber where a variety channel, has done life advice, makeup, and life hacks. A lot of her stuff is now leaning more toward life hacks. When I saw her channel and I reviewed it, and guess what? A lot of my community is not beauty, and I didn't have a lot of subscribers back then when I reviewed her thing. I think maybe I had 100,000, maybe. And the majority of them, only 18% of my audience, unfortunately, is female. So I couldn't give her any huge boost in viewership, even if I wanted to, because only 18% of my audience is female, and not a lot of them are in her space or would have been her demographic. So when I reviewed this female YouTuber's channel, she had 4,000 subscribers, and all she did was the day I reviewed it, she took my advice and went with it and started doing all kinds of stuff, and it went crazy. It went bananas. And since then, since July of last year, it's not even been a full year, she went from 4,000 subscribers to 80,000 subscribers. So is it harder for new YouTubers to get to be part of the 100K club? Nope. And you don't need a shout out from anyone big to do it. You just need to figure out YouTube, and I've done a ton of videos to help with that. Tim Schmoyer has done a ton of videos to help with that. Daryl Eves has done a ton of videos to help with that. Nick Nimmin has done a ton of videos. Brian G. Johnson, Gideon Shalwick, Jeremy Vest, who else? Sean Canal and Benji Travis from Video Influencers and Think Media. There's so many. Amy Schmittauer, Savvy Sexy Social, Sonny Leonarduzzi. There are so many people who have helped unravel the secrets collectively of how YouTube works, especially for small YouTubers. And it's a lot of us who are marketers and business people and technicians. I was a web developer and coder. I was an SEO guy in corporate America. I was a marketing manager. I was Google AdWords certified. So when I give YouTube advice, I'm not talking out of my butt. I'm not talking from the perspective of a big YouTuber or a famous YouTuber or someone who does viral videos. I'm talking from the perspective of playing the long game, of doing stuff that's interesting in a niche micro market, of doing specific videos that have objectives, of how to make real money, all of those things. I'm coming from the hard part, corporate. I'm coming from a little bit of that background. I'm coming from the business development world. I'm coming from the marketing world, which is a little bit harder because it's not entertainment, which means that if I can get people to pay attention on that and it's not entertainment, you could use the tactical under the hood stuff and do entertainment and go mainstream. This is why people like Geekdom 101 and Bijou Mike and Dash from Star Wars and Prince from Urban Acolytes are using my tactical stuff in the entertainment genre and killing it. They are crushing it in entertainment using my tactics. And that's because it's the real stuff under the hood from the perspective of a technician and a marketer and a content strategy development person that's worked in corporate America. Not somebody who became YouTube famous, because they may not understand the inner workings under the hood. They often don't, and why they get upset when YouTube makes changes. And that's not a diss on big YouTubers. It's just the fact is that, like, a performer is not as smart as their manager, even if they make more money than them. A performer is not smarter than their handlers, even if they make more money. And I think that with YouTube, people respect the people at the top because they have the most views and they make the most money, but it doesn't mean they're the smartest people about how the platform works. HOB says, how do I promote my videos without spamming? I feel like I'm spamming too much. Then don't spam. Don't spam. Promote your videos using the tactics that I've discussed in my thing. I actually did a video on how to promote in YouTube, 10 ways to do it without being spammy. Avarati Star Kindler says, how useful have you found YouTube Live, and does it pay more than the competitors, i.e. Periscope and Facebook Live? Currently, Facebook Live and Periscope don't have any payouts for creators. YouTube Live does via Super Chat if you have 1,000 subscribers and you have live streaming enabled, and you get 70% of any money donated. The only other live streaming platform that offers real money is Busker and YouNow and Twitch. Those are the only ones. And I think that YouTube gives more opportunity because you have ad revenue. You can link out to a lot of things that might be affiliates. You could do live streams that might be sponsored and get upfront money for that. I'm not sponsored in this video, by the way. So there is that. And you also can get direct money from your audience via Super Chat. I use Super Chat to collect data from you guys in terms of feedback and sentiment and to have a conversation with you. I use YouTube Live to increase the watch time on my channel overall so that YouTube gives me more channel authority and values all my subsequent videos more due to the cumulative watch time that I have within 48 hours of doing a live stream. So these are my little hacks of where live stream, but also I use it to poll the community and to get more ideas for future videos. I've gotten a ton of great ideas for future videos from you guys right here in this live stream. So that is great. You guys have asked important questions that I could then do a whole nother video around because this is an education channel. So that's how I use it. So there's a lot that can be done there. Fowler's Makery and Mischief. Oh, I love that name. Fowler's Makery and Mischief. Mischief managed. No, the Harry Potter nerd. Is there any way to use Amazon affiliate marketing in a state that does not allow it, third party, or setting up a business address outside the state? Tremendous question. I think that if you have someone that you're in partnership with as a business entity that is in a state that has it, and then you're using the links on your channel and your property, I think that that's how you would go about it, and I think that's how you could do it. That would be how I'd approach it, but also consider that there are other affiliate programs out there. You have things like GearBest.com, you have things like ClickBank, ShareASale, Commission Junction. Look at those affiliate things. Look at direct affiliate programs like TubeBuddy and Bluehost and HostGator, ConvertKit. There are plenty of companies that have direct affiliate marketing that you can do aside from Amazon. Amazon is for mainstream products, but there are alternatives. So just look into that. And again, consider partnering with somebody as a whole business so that the business is outside the state so you can use that address, and that's what I would consider doing. And then just link it up on your channel, and then you guys figure out some internal deal. So that's my answer. So Leah84, $10 via Super Chat. Thank you so much. Going to help my children start a YouTube gaming channel. One for my son who's 11 years old, and one for my daughter who is 12. Do you have any advice on me doing this for them? I would actually recommend that maybe you start them with a joint brother and sister YouTube gaming channel, because that might actually let you do a couple of things. If two of them are both doing gaming, they can upload content more regularly, which might help in the algorithm. And a brother-sister duo on YouTube is a spin in YouTube gaming that we don't see very often. So now you have a unique leverage point, a unique hook from the entertainment side. So I would say have them share the YouTube channel. And then if later when they get older, they want to have their own individual channels, they have this great, huge brand to siphon an audience from. And then the channels cross-promote and help each other. And then they still team up on their other channel. So that would be my content strategy advice for you guys in terms of how you can approach a YouTube gaming channel for your son and your daughter. I think that'd be really cool, and I think we haven't seen something like that. The problem with gaming is it's saturated with people all doing the same thing. I think doing something that unique and different is where you win in YouTube. So that's my answer. Raymond Dupree says, can everybody be a YouTuber? If you got a camera and a phone, sure, you can be a YouTuber. And guess what? Everybody can pick up a basketball and say that, oh, I'm going to play basketball. And the reality is you might suck at it. That sounds harsh, but that's my real answer. Can everybody go out and make a film? Yeah, and it might be crappy. Will anyone watch it? That's real. But is it a crappy film because no one watches it? No, not necessarily. It might be a great film that no one watches and has the best production values in the world. So I would say that in theory, anybody could be a YouTuber. Should everybody be a YouTuber? Probably not. Will everybody be good at it? Probably not. I think that's the real answer here. I think the answer is, are you good? Andrew F., thank you for your old video of DSLR camera recommendations. I've been using my Nikon D3200 for over a year. Yeah, absolutely. I've been using it for a long time. I switched over to the Panasonic because for me, for traveling, it's more convenient. And the features that I want, I just think it's better. Now someone says, Queen Deeb says, I don't think tiny YouTubers are doomed. Just keep plugging and be patient. Yup. Look, guys, Swoozy did YouTube for 5 years to get 5,000 subscribers, and I hear people whining after 5 months. MKBHD did 100 videos to get 78 subscribers when he started out. He has 4 million now, and people are whining after they did 30 because nobody's watching them. And then they might have 200 subscribers, and that's still nobody to them. I was speaking in front of a crowd the other day that maybe was 300 people. And people whined about having that as a small YouTube following, whereas for me, no wait, maybe it was closer to 500, I don't remember now. But for me, that was a fully packed room for a speaking engagement. It's a lot of people. For a lot of people, that's nerve-wracking. I still get butterflies when I go speak in front of 500 people, but yet people whining that that's their audience in YouTube or that's their viewership. I mean, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So, I mean, the lack of patience in the YouTube community is staggering to me. Nobody would expect to be dunking on people after 3 months on the basketball court, and they expect to be winning on YouTube. I don't know where that entitlement comes from. Again, harsh, but I'm being real. I'm being real. I don't think many people in the YouTube community will be real with you about that. I mean, that's just me. If you want to win at YouTube, here's my honest answer. Maybe I should do that video that I talked about how to grow a YouTube channel slow. If you want to win at YouTube, be prepared to take crap for 5 years. And then tell me you want to win at YouTube. If you want to win, but you're not prepared to take crap for 5 years, you don't want it badly enough. If I told you that success was 10 years away from you at whatever you want to do, whatever glory or fame or money you want in the world, whatever you want to accomplish is 10 years... If I told you it's 10 years, here's the fact. 99% of people will quit in less than year 1. Many people will quit after 2 months on a 10-year road to success. Most people on the 10-year road to what success looks like for them quit 1 year in, 2 months in. Whether it's YouTube, podcasting, their job in corporate America, the business and the career that they want to develop, the entrepreneurship venture that they have, the app that they're developing, they are not willing to eat crap for 5 to 10 years to win. And that's why they lose. And that's why they lose. You're saying, oh, I wish I had 500 subs. Why don't you stop wishing you had 500 subs and work for the attention one by one of 500 people for the next... I challenge you, if you're someone who has less than 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to challenge you right now. This is one of my Create Awesome challenges. If you have less than 1,000 subscribers right now, I challenge you for the next 100 days, to do whatever it takes in terms of work to stop whining. If you have to produce a video every single day for the next 100 days to get 10 people, new people at a time to care, I want you to do that work. If you have to then make that video and then chat people up individually, doing a video chat in Twitter in real time to say, hey, I would love for you, it sounds like you love the same things that I love. I would really appreciate your support. Watch this video. Tell me what you think. I'd love to have a conversation about it. If you have to do that, 10 people in Twitter a day, every single day, to get 10 new subscribers every single day for the next 100 days, that's how you get 1,000 subscribers. But you're not willing to do that. I guarantee you, 90% of you watching this right now, you're not willing to do that. You're not willing to... I don't have to do that at 200,000 subscribers. And watch this in real time. Watch me. Watch me. I'm going to find some random person who has tweeted at me or liked a video, and I'm going to give some real value here. And I'm going, oh, Nate. Okay, so Nate, at NTHNU in Twitter. Roberto, would you rather edit a smartphone, Android, or later on in a computer? If you edit on a smartphone, what app do you use? Watch this. I don't have to do this, but this is how you tell people you care. This is how you create real value. This is why if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, less than 100 subscribers, why you're not winning is you're not willing to take 15 seconds out of your day to do this. Hey Nate, it's Roberto. So I'm actually doing a YouTube live stream right now, so you're kind of cameoing in my YouTube live stream in real time. You asked a very important question. You asked whether I'd rather edit on a smartphone or wait till I get to a desktop computer. Personally, because I'm a little bit of an editing snob and an Adobe snob, I like to edit on my desktop in Premiere Pro where I have all the power and all the options to do whatever I want and make the video look its best. However, there are things like when I do my vlog series, Dear Entrepreneurs, which is entirely dedicated to doing mobile video, both production and editing, and now, because of Adobe Spark, even the thumbnails, I like to do that editing on the phone. I do it partly to prove to people like yourself that whether you're using an iPhone or an Android or a smartphone, that you can create great quality content using just what you have. So when I do that, I use Adobe Premiere Clip as my primary mobile editing, and it's free. So I would grab that, use Adobe Clip. It's from Adobe Premiere. It's Adobe Premiere Clip. It's completely free. Hashtag not sponsored. Although I do like working with the Premiere team when I do that, and I'll let you know if it's sponsored when I do. I'd grab that. If you want to do something on the go, when I'm doing a travel vlog, that's easy and it's convenient and I can get it out to you guys right away. So I love doing that, and that is how I do things. I prefer to use the desktop, but if all I have is my mobile device, it's good enough. It's better than the equipment Spike Lee had when he shot Do the Right Thing. So go out there, create something awesome, work with what you have. Boom. So now I'm going to write him a little bit. Thanks for the question. Here is your answer. Boom. I don't need to do something like that to continue to get subscribers because I have over 1,000 videos and I'm a marketer and I've got an ecosystem, I've got a mailing list. I can get subscribers. I've got all, take 1 minute out of my day to do that, to get one more person to be dedicated to my ecosystem, to sign up for my email list, to support me here on the channel in any way they see fit, to go to a speaking engagement. I will still one by one do that and use 1 minute of my day to hit up one person. And at scale, because I did it publicly, more people will be attracted to that and they'll see that. I'm willing, even now, to do a live stream for 2 hours of my day to reach less than 500 people. Most of you are not willing to work 2 hours when nobody's watching. And if you're worried about why you're not succeeding, why you're not winning, that could be the answer. That really could be it. If you have less than 100 subscribers, are you reaching out individually to people and not just tweeting at them, hey, watch my stuff, hey, watch my stuff? Are you creating individual relationships and value? Because you could take 1 minute, you could take 30 minutes out of your day and do what I just did and hit up anywhere from, depending on how much time you want to spend, you could hit up to 50 people. You could be converting 20 people a day. You could have 1,000 new subscribers in the next 100 days if you really were serious about thinking like a fan and hitting up the other person and making them care about you by you caring first. You could do that. You could do that. But most of you will not take that challenge. Most of you will not create individual value and work your butt off 15, 20, 30 minutes a day for just one person, for just 10 people, for just 20 people to add up every day to get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Because if you did, you would do it. You would win. You would get it. And that's what hustle looks like. Boom. So rant over. Casual Creations for Kids, $15 super chat. Thank you so much. Love you for that. What do you consider a decent amount of growth within your first year? How do you know when it's time to change your direction on your channel? It's like there's no such thing in my mind as a decent amount of growth. It's a matter of what you are and aren't satisfied with, and that's going to be different for every individual. So I can't give you a flat number on that. What I would say is every day you should be trying to be better than the previous day. That's how I measure growth and success in anything. Did I do better than yesterday's execution? So it's partly that. The first year should not be focused on growth. The first year should be focused on engagement and quality content, objective quality content, better production values, better on-camera presence. Your first year should be about getting good and delivering a good performance and delivering good content and building a strong relationship with the people who are watching you. Your first year should not be growth-based. It should be internal growth based in terms of, did I grow as a creator in the sense, did I make better videos than when I started, and am I more engaged with my community, and am I smarter about all of this? Derek Flatch says, Roberto Blake, what motivated you to start a channel? It's an education channel for creative people. When I was a kid growing up, I didn't have a ton of successful creative people to give me advice. I decided that that's what I wanted to do, and I did it. And now I also have the leverage and access to ask the smartest creative people in the world how to give advice for you guys for free, for value. So I now have not only given my advice as a successful creative person, both someone who worked in-house and a freelancer and now as an entrepreneur, I now have access to the smartest creative people in the world, people like Rodman Malinik, people like Chris Do and Jose Cavalier, people like Amy Schmittauer and Daryl Eves. I have access to these amazing thought leaders that can give you guys free advice here on my channel. People who aren't even in the YouTube community, who are in the photography and film and arts community, people like Eric Peter Carlson. I can give you guys access to the smartest artists and photographers and painters and filmmakers in the world because I built the leverage by giving my advice up front and building a community. So that's my answer. Raymond says, can anyone with hard work be a YouTuber? You also need chops. You also need some level of talent. So yeah. Yizzy Lewis says, Roberto, how do I tag my videos? Watch my step-by-step video on how to tag your videos and use TubeBuddy. Go to tubebuddy.com/awesome. tubebuddy.com/awesome. Grab that browser plugin. That's going to help you with YouTube search. That's going to help you with optimizing your tags. Watch my step-by-step tutorial, and that's how you tag your videos. Alea Comics says, any advice for a daily vlogger starting out? Try to make your production values as good as you can. Try to focus on storytelling and try to be different. And don't copy Casey Neistat. Just Tech Byte says, also don't do YouTube unless you're committed. Yeah, if you want to take YouTube seriously, be committed. Gary Sun, earlier the stream was about the YouTube boycott, but now we moved into Q&A for the last hour of me just answering people's questions. 5 more minutes, I'm going to wrap it up, people. Adam Chen says, I did 500 videos and I waited for 10 years for 1,000 subscribers. Never give up, people. Yeah, I mean, that's hard, but that's what it looks like. Anderson says, you are my YouTube idol. Thank you for that. Super love it. Super appreciate it. Also, don't worship idols. $5 from Aaron Robinson. Can I build hype for a channel before I release? Maybe set up a mail with a description. I don't know what that means, but here's the thing. You don't need to build up hype for a channel before you release. Don't do it, because here's the thing. No one should subscribe to a channel that has no content, because it's about us trading our time and it's about setting an expectation. Do the work and then ask for people's time. Don't ask for people's time before you've done the work. Like, nope. Create value and then, get it. Roberto, PayPal.me could work something like Patreon as well. Yep. Absolutely. Tankerslay FX. Stop wishing you had 500 subscribers and do the work. Do the work. You wish you had 500 subscribers? Cool. Hit up 20 people and make a personal direct video in Twitter for them and ask them if they are interested in what you're doing and if they'd take a look at it and give you feedback. And see if you get subscribers. Do that. If you're not willing to do that 20 times a day, 10 times a day, 20 times a day, every day for the next 100 days, never comment to me and say you wish you had ... subscribers ever again. And that goes for any of you watching this. Never tell me you wish you had ... number of subscribers if you're not willing to personally reach out, build a connection that's about the other person, that's about the fan. If you're not willing to think like a fan and hit them up and personally make a 30-second video in Twitter or Facebook and reach out to them and build a real connection. If you have 0 and you wish you had 100, you wish you had 200, you wish you had 500, you wish you had 1,000, if you're not willing to do that for the next 100 days, then don't ever tell me I wish I had, because you didn't do the work, and you'll just keep wishing. And I know that sounds harsh. That might sound mean. You might unsubscribe. I'm just going to tell you the truth because I don't believe that most people are going to be real with you about that. I really believe that. Ryan Lohman says, I want you to know that I appreciate what you're doing for us. Your advice has been valuable. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate you. Fowler's Makery Mischief said, just won 500K and want to invest some of it in my YouTube channel and consult with someone. Is that something you did? Fowler's Makery, hit me up, either DM me on Twitter or hit me up on my website, robertoblake.com, and let's discuss it. Let's talk about how to grow your channel. Let's talk about your content marketing strategy, and let's see what's a good fit for you. Let's see if it's a one-time session, or let's see if you need to do something recurring. That is a business model that I have both for individual small businesses and for corporate clients. Let's see what you're trying to do. Hit me up. Autobot Simmer says they talk about how to ask people to donate to Patreon without sounding like begging. I've actually covered that in a video that you should look at. Photo Video Sample says they should make YouTube Red more enticing. One idea is subscribers with YouTube Red are the first to be notified, then everyone else. 20-second or more delay. I don't know about that. I don't think that does anything. Dehulu Medeb says, do you think we can choose another specialty after graduating from graphic design, like interior design? Yeah, I think you could. If you have the chops, I think you can use it as leverage. So I would look at that. Tess Cooks for You says, it's been 3 years and I have 35,000 subscribers. It's been a lot of hard work. Consistency is the key. I agree. I agree 110%. I agree 110%. Darth Shady, love that name, says, I post a video every 5 days and I'm amazed at how I get a few subscribers every week and encourages me because I know the channel is growing at a consistent rate. Yep, that'll matter. So yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at some of you guys' stuff and just like looking through for, stuff that stands out to me. Man, this is great. You tell them I love the authenticity and the tough love, man. Yeah. Autobot Simmer, I don't think you have to treat YouTube like a job and work 40 hours a week. I think you have to treat YouTube like a business and work smart in addition to working hard. I don't spend 40 hours a week on my YouTube channel, not even close, and I produce more volume of content than the far majority of people. I'm still not going to spend 40 hours a week, and I might be able to start doing 2 a days on some days of the week like Gary Vee does, and I don't have a team like Gary Vee does, not yet, and I'm not even outsourcing the editing, which I plan to do this summer, to outsource some of the editing, and I might outsource almost all the how-to content except stuff where I work with sponsors or super long-form content, and then I will do the live streams and creative thoughts and heavier hitting content and some motivation videos, and I'll edit all of that, and I'm outsource all the how-to videos except for the tutorials and sponsored stuff and some of the tech review stuff, and all the how-to videos, the editing might get outsourced, and that's how I think I get to doing 60 videos a month instead of 30 videos a month, Gary Vee style, by just adding one member to my team. But I could actually probably make 50 videos, not work 40 hours a week, and still outwork everyone on YouTube for the most part without a team. As a one-man band, I guarantee you I could. And I don't have to do 40 hours a week because I work smart in addition to working hard. So no, you don't have to treat it like a 40-hour-a-week job. I use a lot of productivity hacks, and I work really smart, and I probably spend 30 hours a month on my YouTube channel to produce a higher volume of content than the far majority of people. And I've taught you guys how to do that. It's not a secret. I've literally broken it down on this YouTube channel. If you watch the Wednesday videos around video production, photography, and editing, you see exactly how I can do that. If you watch the graphic design videos on Mondays, you see exactly how I can do all the visual branding and stuff for my channel and do that. So it's all those things. For Nate says, for budget desktop editing, would you recommend Premiere Elements, Vegas Movie Studio, Cyberlink Power Director, Corvette? Nate, I would recommend all of those, and I own all of those with the exception of Sony Vegas, which I might buy to do tutorials for you guys, but I have to learn Sony Vegas because I haven't used it in about 6 years, and I lost my license for it. So I would look at that. Any of those is fine. I preference Adobe, but all of the other ones are fine as well. And I still owe you guys some tutorials on Cyberlink. Go Herping says, have you ever used Teachable for any courses? It's free. I like it and be the best option compared to something like Kajabi for $100 a month. If you have a really tight budget, then Teachable and Thinkific are the best answer for doing online courses. I went with Kajabi for very specific reasons, but Thinkific is amazing and I fully support them. And Teachable looks really good too. So pick what's in your budget. Work with what you got. I like Kajabi, but also Kajabi is things people in the marketing world really, really like. Also, I went with Kajabi because it also lets me do a membership site, and so that's another part of my business model, so that's why. Guardian Soulblade says, people forget that this is hard and it's not about getting famous. Yup. Absolutely. Twins FIFA HD says, Roberto, do you think uploading every day, even if the quality is not the best, is better than a video every 2 to 3 days with better quality? Please answer. Twins FIFA HD. Do 2 to 3 videos with the highest level of quality until you get good enough, fast enough, and smart enough to be able to do that daily. I got my quality up and then I increased my quantity. That's exactly how I did. I did quality first, made that sustainable, and then mass produced it. And that's what I continue to do. So that is my real answer. Avardi Star Kindler, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Maybe not what your revenue is right now, but how much were you making, say, 3 to 6 months ago, or what revenue do you expect to forecast to at 100K subscribers? I mean, you can look that up. Go to socialblade.com, type in my URL, Roberto Blake 2. The big number is probably really close to accurate. What does Social Blade say right now? Like, what does Social Blade say about me right now? That's probably close to accurate. Like, I'm not, but that doesn't account for any of my sponsorship revenue. That doesn't account for my affiliate revenue. That doesn't account for any other YouTube-related revenue through multiple affiliate deals that I have. Like, it doesn't account for how much money I actually make off of YouTube, nor does it count for any of the referral business that I get for YouTube that is big client money and consulting. So, like, if AdSense is all you guys care about, you can look that number up in Social Blade. I'm not going to tell you. Not to mention, whenever I mention it, that number will change next month because, and then who knows what happens with advertisers pulling money. So my estimated monthly earnings in Social Blade, if you look at the top number that Social Blade says for my monthly ad earnings, that's conservative. That number is kind of accurate. It's conservative. I make usually more in AdSense revenue than that, and it doesn't account for Super Chat either. And again, it does nothing about my sponsorship and my affiliate revenue. So it's not even about how many subscribers you have. It's based on how many of your views are advertiser friendly, meaning how many of your views had ads put against them, and then what advertisers were those. So it's hard to give projections based on subscriber count because it's irrelevant. What I would tell you is that if you want to make a living on YouTube, you need 500,000 to 1 million views per month to make a modest living on YouTube on straight up AdSense revenue. And even then, that depends on where you live, because if you live in California, maybe not. You might need a couple million a month. That's the answer. That's the real answer. Roberto, why is the RPM on my Google AdSense so low? The highest it has ever been has been, I can't say that out loud, and I can't tell you because you're not supposed to disclose RPM. You're not supposed to disclose RPM, and that is based on the ad auction marketplace. So the other reason I tell you not to rely on YouTube AdSense is you cannot predict it. You cannot predict it because it's based on what's happening in advertiser land, which is variables well beyond your control. Well beyond your control. Yep. Dom's Correction says, how should I promote a YouTube motivational video series like a TV show style? That's a great question. That is a great question. Here's my honest answer, Dom Productions. I don't know. I don't know how you should promote a YouTube motivational video series like a TV show style. I would have to sit and think about that for a good minute and come up with a content strategy, and I would have to do research. That is something that off of the top of my head, I'm not afraid to tell you, I straight up don't know. It is a fantastic question, and I do not have an immediate answer for it. I'd have to do a ton of research. I'd have to think about it. Guardian Soulblade says, YouTube is harder for me because I can only record at night. I did it daily content until a year because I needed to go on a hiatus to optimize my channel. If you can only record at night, then batch record your videos and then edit later so that you have a backfill of content and so that you have a pile up of what you've recorded so that when you don't have the energy or it's late at night and you're tired, while you have all these other videos that you've already shot in the can. So I would just bulk shoot. That's why I would say Guardian Soulblade. I know it's rough when you have to record at night. That happens to me when I travel. Any camera that can beat the Sony a6000 in the 600 to 800 range for most video purposes. The Panasonic Lumix G7 would be my recommendation. Or the Panasonic Lumix G85. What do I think about MCNs? I actually covered that earlier. I'm not their biggest fan. Go Herping X. Have you ever paid to promote any content on any platforms? I've experimented with Facebook ads, but not for YouTube videos, but for content to grow my email list, and also for something for my private mentoring group that's like invite only, mostly through Facebook. It's a private membership site and a private Facebook group. I promoted that and did some ads against that, partly as an experiment and partly because I wanted to see if it would do anything. And so you've used that before. I've used Google AdWords for video to promote something that targeted for my speaking engagements to get more public speaking, but not for my regular YouTube video content. I only spend ad money on things that could make me money. I could get a $5,000 thing for speaking, so it makes sense to buy ads against that to try to get another speaking engagement. So that's why I would do that. Zaggy says you have a very long 5 minutes, mate. Yeah, you're right. So guys, it's actually 5:30 here, and I need to eat some food. So that's gonna end this live stream. I am buying a GH5. Rohan asks if I'm buying a GH5. You pre-ordered yours yesterday. I pre-ordered mine today. I put it on my Amazon credit card. I spent a whopping $2,000 on that, and I plan to make all the money back on the tutorials around using that camera, the unboxing video through all the affiliate monies, covering my lens reviews with it, and photo and video samples, the 4K video thing, streaming experiments with it. I plan to make all the money back within 30 days. My goal is to make all the money that I spent on my new Panasonic GH5. I plan to make all that money back in 30 days. From receiving it. That's my answer. So yeah. J. Cole, I would have to do a new video because Affinity has upgrade. I think Affinity Photo is great for freelancers. I can't hire people that use Affinity Photo for my business because I have to keep things Adobe centric, because I have other freelancers that all my freelancers use Adobe, so I have to streamline the workflow and we all have to be on the same page. So that's what being a company is. But if you're an individual freelancer and you want to save some money, Affinity Photo is amazing for you. So that's what I would do. If you're a hobbyist, that's that. Twins FIFA HD, best advice to increase your ratio of views to subscribers. Make content that most of your subscribers watch and view historically. Whatever's gotten you the best view to subscriber ratio on videos, make that kind of content. But when you do that, when you worry about your view to subscriber ratio, you are trapped into making that kind of content even if you don't want to. So that's why I never care about the view to subscriber ratio, because I can make any content I want and I can say screw it. So I believe in having that freedom. For me, that's not the right answer for everybody, because some people want to make a living off YouTube. So hey, worship the view and subscriber ratio. Tankers Lee FX, it's like you didn't get chewed out by me, dude. Like, I gave you some real world hard advice, and I gave you something actionable to do to grow your channel. If you're gonna be soft and you're gonna say, "Oh, I got chewed out by Roberto, peace out," then then you're not gonna win. If, like, me giving you real advice and tough love and telling you hustle for subscribers, go out and reach people, stop whining and do the work, if that is enough to discourage you, you weren't going to win. So that's my real answer. And again, I hate having to give that kind of, like, I hate having to say something like that. But it's the truth, and I can only be honest with you guys, and I can only be real with you guys. If I was like, yeah, you can do it, like, that would be fake. That'd be fake. Roberto, can you tell the... Wait, oh, this is a good one. Oh, so we got drones and electric unicycles. Roberto, can you tell the story of how we took a fan video for Sarah Dici to the next level and it was featured in her vlog? I could tell that story. I'm out of time. Maybe I'll tell that story in another video and cameo you guys. That could be interesting. And maybe I give you guys like an awesome creator of the day plug / shout out, because I don't believe in YouTube shout outs, but I believe in awesome creator of the day, which is a new thing we're going to do, which I'm going to announce on my channel. So everyone will learn how to become Awesome Creator of the Day and get featured at the end of my videos. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to tease you guys. What I'm going to start doing in not just my Creative Thoughts vlogs, but that's probably where I'll start, but maybe in about a week. Next week, because of editing, next week, I'll be doing a new thing at the end of all of my YouTube videos at the end, right before the info card, is highlighting an Awesome Creator of the Day, which might be probably either a link to like a thing that says here's their website, or here's their Twitter, or here's their Instagram. If they happen to be a YouTuber, maybe it'll be their YouTube channel, but I want to feature photographers, artists, filmmakers, painters, performers. I want people who are doing awesome things to get a little bit more love, and I'm going to use my platform to do that, which means at the end of my videos from now on, there will be an Awesome Creator of the Day thing for like 10 seconds or something right before the YouTube info card, which I'm going to want you guys to support awesome creators. So watch my videos to the end in the future for Awesome Creator of the Day. And it's also how you will know if you decide to tweet at me or hit me up in Instagram because you want to show off your artwork so that your art can be Awesome Creator of the Day, whether it's Photoshop or photography or video or film or whatever, or you make music and you make beats or whatever it is. If you want to be Awesome Creator of the Day and you want to be featured in my YouTube videos from now on, because this is going to be the new format at the end of my videos, along with YouTube info cards, then that's what it looks like. That's, you know, that's what the future holds. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to know if you're Awesome Creator today, then you'll have to watch the end of the videos from now on. And then also it's a way for me to plug more artists and creators and writers and photographers and blah, 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 blah. So it's a way for me to highlight people, and it's because I don't believe in random YouTube shout-outs. It's a way for me to feature people doing cool stuff. So that's my answer. So yeah. Tankersley, you said that you're just joking and I don't know your sense of humor. Yeah, it's hard because text has no tone. So, like, if you don't do an emoji, I can't tell when you're joking, dude. Deepak Kumar says, can we start a channel on humanity and helping others? I don't know. Can you? Do you need my permission to do that? No, I would say just do it and see what happens, dudes. Like, I think that's, like, you know. Twins FIFA HD says, Roberto, are live streams the new growth hack for YouTube? They could be. I don't know. I think we got a few new subs off of this live stream. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I don't know. But I do know I got a ton of watch time, so I'm happy about that. Also, thank you to everybody for Super Chat. And remember, tweet at me at Roberto Blake to let me know what I should do as the free download for people who donate in Super Chat, because I want to hook you guys up with something. And so I think it's got to be some digital swag. It's got to be some kind of free download. I don't know. Tankersley, if anything, Roberto, your words have inspired me and nothing more. Thank you. I'm so glad that my words have inspired you because I want you to hustle hard. I want you to work for it. I want you to go after it. Be hungry. Be hungry, not thirsty. Hungry. So yeah. Hey, Roberto, what are your methods of scheduling your next day, week, month? Content calendar. I use my notes. I use my notes in my little thing here, in my Apple. I make my notes and everything like that. Primary example, this thing. 10 reasons you're not getting YouTube subs. Like, boom, that's here in my notes. That's how I think about it. But I also have I have notes that have entire playlist ideas here. Like really, really long playlist ideas. I mean, it's pretty insane. Like, look, here's a list of 10 playlist ideas just around web hosting and domains and how to start a website. Like, so again, that's real to me. Have you ever noticed that live stream comments really inflate your YouTube analytics for comment count, or is that intentional? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if I've noticed that. Annie McGowan says, yeah, about 55 new subs for you, Roberto. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Awesome. MacPlays says, any advice for finding out what content you really want to deliver on YouTube? Think about what you're good at, what you can talk about at length, and what you really, really, really love. What you really love. So that matters. Queen Deeb says, I've noticed Gary Vee is doing, like, YouTube commercials, short videos with clips from old videos. Oh, I've got to look at that and look at what he's doing there, and then I might do something like that, because that could be interesting. If it's working for him, I might need to tap into that hack. So good call on that. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into the live stream. Thank you for all the support. Watch the replay if you want to know about what's going on with YouTube and the AdSense revenue. I covered that for an hour in depth, and then we did an hour change of Q&A with you guys. Most motivating book has got to be Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. So there's that. Lainey Acosta, is it better for a YouTube career to make videos in English? If you think you can reach an English market, yes. But you could also dominate the market of your native speaking language, because maybe no one's in your genre in that. So I would dominate a small market rather than trying to be mainstream. Anne McGuinn. Okay, so your name's pronounced McGuinn. Annie McGuinn. Thank you so much. So that's my answer. Yeah, be hungry like the wolf. Yep, stay hungry, not thirsty, my friends. Stay hungry. But when I am thirsty, I drink Dos Equis. Nah, I'm not sponsored by Dos Equis. But yeah, that's it for the live stream, guys. I really have to go this time because we're at like 2 hours and 25 minutes. So again, thank you, everybody. Hit me up in Twitter. Hit me up in the Instagram. All of it's at Roberto Blake. Hit me up in social media, wherever you want to live there. Again, make sure you're watching the replay. The replay will probably be up in an hour or two because YouTube has to process it. So I hope you guys enjoy the replay. I spent an hour covering what the future is of YouTube ad revenue because of the boycott. And then we spent an hour and a half talking about your questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have questions about YouTube ad revenue, AdSense, ad money, I highly recommend going to my YouTube channel, going to the How to Grow a YouTube Channel playlist. I've done a 10 video series on how to make money on YouTube and like 10 ways to do it without AdSense. So do not depend on your AdSense revenue, you guys. You guys are asking me some cool questions. Yes, I am Scrooge McDuck and all about the money bin. SK Creations, you get the final question, pancakes or waffles. It's all about those waffles. All about those waffles. Again, thanks guys so much. Go out there, create something awesome today, and hit me up in social media. Take care. Oh yeah, I forgot. Wirecast makes me do this thing a